Hey everyone, it's Weekender time and it's time to give away an awesome prize. This week, to coincide with Games Workshop's latest releases for Blackstone Fortress, we're giving away the box set! Oh my god, this thing's so heavy! Oh, to be in with your chance of winning this, like the video, subscribe to our channel, ding our dong, and comment below letting us know which one of these miniatures is your favourite. Mine's the Crude Shaper. Oh, I love the Crude Shaper. It's like the first one in about 15 years. Oh, it's so good. As well as that, we have our winner picked from last week, who wins the Realm of Chaos box set. If you want to know if you're the winner, go to our prize claim center, and if you see your name in a big list of names of previous prizes and stuff that we've given away, you are a winner, and you will get this. Just claim your prize. Hey everyone, welcome to another Weekender. Your look at what's going on in gaming every week here on OnTableTop. I'm joined this week by Jay.
Hola.
And I'm joined by Ben on the screen.
Hello.
Always love seeing your big head, Ben. Massive on the screen, mate.
My big old head. Yes.
Oh, there were complaints. There were complaints when you weren't here, Ben. So many people
about my lack of head. Yes.
We replaced you with a much smaller, minuscule, let's say a scale model version in the form of Sam. And a lot of people were just going, he doesn't fill the space.
Yeah. Was this
he looks very small.
Was this during your bring your son to work day?
No, that was different. That was good though. But no, we had him on one of the other sets so he could do the news, and he just seemed so far away, and it felt cold and lonely, not the warmth of having your big face on the screen.
Welcome back, Ben.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. Right, we have a jam-packed show this week. We've got Battle Systems in, so Colin's in to give us an update on new products and stuff that are coming out of those guys. Looks kind of exciting. We've got the Foreground train stuff.
Hadn't noticed.
It's been on the shelf waiting for me to get in Weekender mode and get stuck into it.
It's been on the shelf because it arrived and Justin went, just put that on the shelf.
They put it on a shelf that was too high for me to reach.
So he didn't even know it was here. Just languishing up there.
Put it on a shelf.
I'm not saying you did it deliberately.
Don't even tell me.
Never tell you.
Ridiculous. And we've got Mel, the train tutor, in. He's going to give us the lowdown on his Kickstarter, which is now started for the terrain book.
Yep.
So we've got a jam-packed show, but let's get stuck straight in with the news. Right? We've told you can win a set. There's an expansion out for Blackstone Fortress. Ben, you want to tell us about it, mate?
Yeah, sure. So the new set that's coming out that was announced at Garmin this week is for Traitor Command, and this is a new sort of adventure module for the game that adds both Ogryns and a Commissar into the mix. And obviously, they're not Imperial Commissars and Imperial Ogryns. These are dastardly Traitor ones. So they've included this with the ability to either use this as a separate adventure model if you want to try and encounter them on your adventures into the Blackstone Fortress, or you can mix and match them in with what already exists for the game and use them as sort of like a random bit of a surprise. As well as that, they've also announced that there's going to be data sheets in the box for you to use these miniatures in your games for 40k, and that probably means we're also going to get some options to use them in Kill Team as well in the future as well.
Oh yeah!
I think the miniatures looking pretty awesome, and it's pretty cool to see some more stuff coming out of Blackstone Fortress. A lot more support coming into this than there was for Silver Tower and Shadows of a Hammerhall. Do you
think this is better received then?
I think it is. I think probably a lot of it was to do with the whole idea of it being 40k based, and I think there's a lot of sort of crossover between what they've done here and what they're doing in 40k sort of in general as well. And it's also something very, very different from what we'd seen for Warhammer Quest as well.
Yeah, so, I think also the fact that they have that extra level between 40k and Blackstone Fortress in Kill Team. You don't have that in Age of Sigmar. You just go, you're either playing Age of Sigmar or you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true.
It's hard to put multiple layers in there.
It's cool to see it arriving so quickly. The full box set, which we're giving away, remember to get in for that.
There may or may not be a Crude Shaper in it, mind you.
Didn't arrive that long ago. Yeah, it's not going to have a Crude Shaper. It should be you can win the box minus a Crude Shaper.
Yeah. Just be a hole nibbled in the back and the sprue missing.
It's the first Crude model in like 15 years, man.
That's true.
It's like when Foreground were over, I was trying to get Ben to buy one. Big Ben. I was like, Ben, you want to buy this, don't you? You want to buy this and send me the Crude Shaper. And he's like, I want to buy this and send you the Crude Shaper. Still waiting, Ben. Still waiting. Just saying. I'm going to talk about your train, man. Crude Shaper would be nice. But yeah, it's great to see it arrive so quickly.
Yeah.
Rather than a box set and you're left to sit for a year with nothing to do,
dangling.
Nothing extra to do to it. I mean, Blackstone Fortress is what, 2-3 months old, something like that? 4 months?
I think
old?
it was October, November last year. It was pre-Christmas, but not much.
Yeah.
And then since then we've had ambles, the ambots, these commissars. I think there's another box, but I'm damned if I can remember what it was.
So how many expansions have we had then?
Well,
I think there's at least 2.
Yeah, there's at least two. At least 2 more.
Which is cool, because I like to see. I like it that this could be sort of a mini hobby on itself.
Yeah.
You know, if this is what's enticed you into the hobby, it's not a case of here you bought this box and now you have to go and play the full game. Yeah. They are still expanding on this, so you can still have your board game version and have all your fun with that.
I think they're also, because they're just focusing on the additional miniatures for the game, they're not worrying about putting extra card stock in there in the form of extra tiles and things. So you are still playing your Blackstone Fortress, but you're changing what's happening inside it. Mm-hmm. And I think in the past, particularly with Warhammer Quest, and that's probably why they didn't do it with the new version of Quest, when they released the expansion, it was a whole new set of dungeon tiles to go with it. And that was always the most costly part for Games Workshop, because they didn't do the card in-house. Yeah. So I assume it's something similar to this day. They don't have the print facilities, but they can quite easily go and do another couple of models like this. And the weird Chaos Commissar, that in itself for novelty value is weird. But being able to just go, here's a couple of models, bang them into the box, here's the rules for Kill Team, and presumably it won't take much to get them into 40k as well. So
cool. Yeah. I like it a lot. Right, remember, you know, if you want to get into this is your chance to get the core box. Yeah. And then these expansions are useful to you then, because you'll have the core box.
Well, even if you're not playing Blackstone, I think the miniatures in it alone are worth more than the core box is.
Yeah, you'll have a shaper. Yeah. An awesome shaper.
May or may not have a shaper.
When's there going to be an expansion with more Kroot, GW? More Kroot? You know, you've done it. You've broken your 15-year drought. Yep. I want to see more.
They've done one. It means they clearly have somebody who knows what a Kroot looks like in their sculpting team. And he can do more then.
It's awesome. Speaking of Kroot, Ben, I managed to get some Kroot. Ben had actually, he'd promised me some Kroot, because in the backstage show I've been showing off like this Kroot Warband that I'm building, which we might talk about a little bit later in this show, actually. Maybe. Now that I think about it. So it's funny because when like this came out, this was hot in the heels of, there was a story in White Dwarf at the time, which brought Kroot also to Kill Team. Yeah. And I was just buying a box at the time. They all went out of stock. Back in stock. I've got my box of Kroot. So I'm just waiting for you guys to do Kroot expansions for this. Oh, that'd be amazing. Do it, GW. You know you want to.
It'll make you happy. Well, it might not make you happy. It'll make him happy. Hey. Which makes everybody else in here happy.
Because that means we can give away the box with the Kroot shaper in it. I don't have to take it.
I won't have to take it out.
Don't worry, it will be in it. I promise. It will be in it. I ain't going to take it. Right, sticking with Games Workshop, there's some more stuff coming out for Age of Sigmar, Ben.
Yeah, so obviously you're talking about Kill Team there as well. There's going to be a slight sort of interesting project happening for Age of Sigmar as well. This was also announced at Gamma. This is Age of Sigmar Warcry, and this is from the team that worked on Kill Team and Warhammer Underworld, so there's like quite a good pedigree behind the team working on this. And this is where you're going to be playing as Chaos Warbands in the Mortal Realms, fighting for supremacy in sort of like a campaign skirmish style game set within this sort of like Chaos Wastes and stuff. So yeah, one of the interesting things about this that came out is that a lot of people were thinking this was going to be almost like a sort of an additional thing to Warhammer Skirmish that was coming out. That was then sort of dealt with in White Dwarf in the first two issues, of the new version of that magazine, which has gone through like 3 or 4 versions now, but whatever. But everyone was thinking that there was going to be like order and death and destruction threading there as well. But no, this is only about Chaos Warbands. You're going to be playing as different sort of variations on that, sort of struggling for survival. So if anyone's played the old Path to Glory that was then sort of revamped as well for Age of Sigmar, that's the kind of thing we're looking at here. You're going to be playing as these Chaos Warbands, then with these enigmatic leaders trying to fight their way through the Chaos Waste, beating each other to a pulp so they can get to the Varan Spire, which is the sort of like citadel that Archaon holds in the Chaos Wastes. And once they get there, hopefully they're going to be bestowed with demonic gifts and all kinds of things like that. So yeah, it sounded pretty awesome. All of the miniatures in the box apparently are going to be entirely unique. They're going to be entirely new. We've seen some really cool stuff in the trailers. There's some things like some crazy Furies. So if you like the Chaos Furies, you've got those to look forward to. And there's also some guys that look very much like Cornate. And then there's also some guys that look Undivided as well. So sort of worshippers of all the different gods. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this and where they go with it. there's obviously been huge success with games like Kill Team and Necromunda over the past couple of months, and so this seems like a sort of like a dead cert for them really when it comes to Age of Sigmar. And again, one of those things that could effectively become just your hobby for the sort of worlds that Games Workshop create. If you want to just get stuck into this and play with a handful of models, this is a cool option for you to go for. So
yeah, and I believe there's some trailers and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So there's a trailer that they put out during Gama, which you can go and watch out in the links down below. So go and check that out and see what you think. And hopefully we'll hear some more news about it very, very soon as well.
Hectic release schedule as always.
Well, this is one of the things that's actually quite interesting. A lot of people are talking about, like on Tabletop, a lot of people were very excited about this, but over on Facebook and on social media, a lot of people were like, how do I keep up with all the games that they're releasing? And it's an interesting one because you've got to see that you've got to think that Games Workshop are trying to strike a balance between lots of new games to try and keep people interested in sort of giving them new avenues into it, but not, diversify too much so that it spreads the amount of people playing in each of these particular games. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this. So.
Well, it is a double-edged sword. I mean, we all know Games Workshop have quite a hectic release schedule because I'll talk to the people here on game night or something and I'll say, oh, do you want to try such and such? And they'll be like, I haven't got time yet. It takes all my effort to keep up with the Games Workshop releases.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It takes half their game night just to deploy their army, never mind the game's releases. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I imagine most people will be picking up Warcry for the miniatures if they've got Chaos Warbands, and if the game isn't great, then it's not a total loss because they don't release box games at the moment where you're losing money on the miniatures.
Yeah. You're
always getting more than the value of that. So even if it turns into be a bit of a pop game-wise, I can imagine that they'll still go for that just for the figures in it. Although from the trailer, some of them look, I don't know if they've been bestowed with gifts from the Chaos Gods already. There's some unusual sculpts in there.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting one actually with this because like a lot of people have been talking about whether or not if the rules don't work, then at least you've got the models to use it for. But in general, I think that Games Workshop have been hitting more than they've missed with their recent releases.
Yeah.
Like Necromunda has done really well. Kill Team's done really well. They've especially dived into a lot more stuff there to try and build that up and things. 40K's doing well, even though there's a couple of problems here and there. Age of Sigmar's getting a lot more of a following too. So, it might not be the ticket for everybody, but it's one that a lot of people.
It is a very narrow focus compared to the others, though, because Kill Team has got most of the 40k races.
Very
Necromunda
true.
has got multiple different factions with different playstyle. This is just 4 flavors of chaos. I suppose 5 flavors if you include Undivided. So if you're not big into chaos, you're not going to be going near it probably, if that's not your thing. If the idea of spending several weeks running a campaign.
Let's see the box set as well.
You run the campaign, and then at the end, your leader doesn't get demonically gifted. Instead, he just ends up being turned into some sort of massive blob. So, which I imagine will happen to more than a few. They just end up being spawned.
Well, it's quite interesting looking at the actual box set and what they were talking about, because obviously we're going to see a lot of them sort of aligned to the different Chaos Gods, because you've seen the guys in the red armor, so clearly they must be sort of like focusing towards Khorne.
Yeah.
But then all of the different symbols for them look to be more like tribal symbols than they do god symbols. So it'll be interesting to see if there's certain warbands or certain tribes that almost have a crossover between the two. I'm sure you're not going to see like Khorne and Slanesh hanging out together because they don't particularly like each other, or Khorne and Zench, or Khorne and anybody actually, I suppose. But
he does not play well with others, does he?
Sort of how they mix it up. But
there's minis on show in the trailer, is there?
There is, yeah.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Because I was trying to cast my mind back, because I just watched it before we come in to watch the show, and I was thinking there's definitely minis in it. I think it's a bit weird though, they're all like, I don't know, it looks like a Blood Bowl team to me almost on the front cover, because it's all red shoulder pads and stuff. I'm like, there's gonna be a ball up here somewhere.
That far north they don't use a ball, they just remove somebody's head and kick it around. Yeah.
Cool. Right, moving on, but sticking in the fantasy side of things.
Yeah.
There's light at the end of the tunnel for you Saga fans.
Oh no.
Waiting for the Age of Magic. Oh, we finally know when you can get your grubby mitts on it.
Yes,
some of us can get our grubby mitts on it.
Yeah, so it's going to be released to everybody on the 22nd of April. Yeah. But if you want to pre-order it and get it ahead of a lot of other people, you can head to Salute this year and pick it up. But you have to order it through Gripping Beast and pick it up at the event. So just make sure of that. You can't. There might be a run on this, so make sure that you've actually got it pre-ordered and ready to pick up from the event. So, but yeah, it is definitely now got a release date. It is definitely coming out. There are going to be 6 factions in the book that are sort of like generically fantasy based, so you can use all your different armies. There's going to be options for legendary units and warriors for all the different sort of armies that you've got in there, including monsters and that kind of thing. Yeah. There's also going to be new rules for magic. There's going to be a whole grimoire of spell cards as well included there too. And it seems like a lot of people are going to be picking this up. And with Warlords of Erewhon out there as well, people are really getting back into their fantasy thing. So a very cool set of releases.
Just to be clear, in case you've been under a rock, because we've been just looking at pictures and stuff, those miniatures and stuff that you're seeing are not Gripping Beast miniatures. No. This Age of Magic book is all about, people taking their fantasy collections that they have and re-injecting them in. They're not actually making a miniatures range. No. They're not even really fleshing out factions in terms of fluff and stuff.
No, none of that. No, it is solely 6 different faction boards, but by that it's Horde is a faction board. Now, Horde might mean that you've gone for Skaven because they've got a lot of Skaven, or maybe it's Goblins, or maybe it's some sort of fantasy-esque version of the Golden Horde, and you're going lots of little men on little ponies, devastating everything in their path. It's entirely up to you how you interpret what army you have as to playing on what board. So potentially you could get an army and go, this week I want to play it as this battle board, but equally it might fit into this battle board, and then you play the first one and go, no, it doesn't suit my play style, swap it over. Because it's not, this is an orc board, this is an elf board, it's just the only one I think that even comes close to being tied down like that is undead. Yeah. I think there is a specific undead board, but beyond that, the rest of them are just very generic, very plug and play, essentially. And we are seeing a lot of that. I mean, the fact that you can get your old fantasy miniatures out and play Warlords of Erewhon or play Saga,
well, this is it,
using the same miniatures and have 2 very different games.
There's over the last few years, there's quite a few fantasy-esque players found themselves dislodged, you might say. Age of Sigmar has been going great guns. So even you can take Age of Sigmar miniatures and play this as well. Yeah. You can do the crossover there, which is cool because, believe me or not, Saga's pretty wee buns a game to get into because the whole thing runs off the battle board.
It's the battle board. And I mean, for people who, you could potentially pick this up and have this and Warlord sitting on your shelf. They both have a very similar model count for what you're going to be playing with, but how those 2 games play out are entirely different.
Yeah,
and the feel you get from both of them. So you can have a more in-depth gamey feel with Warlords of Erewhon, where you're having to think more about building because you're actually going, I want that unit to have a sword.
This
I want
is the new game from Warlord.
I want that unit over there to have spangly armor. I want this hero to have that. So you're micromanaging each unit. So there's more time investment in that, but you get that sort of, the command and control feel of having built your army to perform in a certain way, and you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then you could take the same army the next week, fire it on the table in about 2 minutes flat using one of the battle boards from Age of Magic, and have a completely different game, even though you're playing the same 2 forces against each other on the same board with the same terrain.
Which is cool because you've got your
I've got so much.
One of the things you're dusting off is your Rackham range.
Yes. Oh god, yeah. And the nice thing about Rackham is they were sold mainly in boxes of 8, which, as we know, for Saga is a warrior unit size. So, I have so many boxes sitting there, all stacked up already, filled with, I've got the Keltos Caesar warriors.
Now, is this the ones you have to paint, or is this the pre-painted range?
Oh, no, they're all the ones you have to paint.
Oh, you're never going to see that anytime soon.
No, you're never going to see that.
Is this just in your man cave of desperation of never painting this stuff?
But no. I did start painting. Now, you weren't here, so you wouldn't know. I did start painting my ogres because I could use them in Vanguard, and those ogres are lovely. And then I dropped them on the way home from here 2 weeks ago, and every one of them broke. And I just looked at the box and went, no.
Oh, the pain inside.
So I just pushed that to one side. I'm going to do some other things first and come back. But I've got a few other armies kicking around that are painted that I'm going to try and get a run out with first, just to get games of both Erewhon and Saga in.
This reminds me, I need to go and get 30 quid to give to you.
You do.
So you can pre-order me a copy.
Yeah.
So we can both be on there.
Yeah.
Because
we're not going to Salute to work, we're going to buy Lloyd stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't nip in, Griffin Beast has this terrible habit of books going out of print.
Yes.
Do you remember that Age of Crusades book that you ordered for me?
Yes.
And then you ordered the wrong book instead.
In my defense, I did.
And now it's out of stock and I can't get it anywhere.
I didn't order the wrong book. I ordered the right book because we've been talking about the scenario book for Saga coming for so long. And I finally went, it's finally coming out. I can pre-order it now. And she went, oh yeah, get me one. And I ordered it and went, the book's here. And we've been subsequently talking about Crusades at some point. And he went, this isn't the Crusade book. I went, no, this is the scenario book we've been waiting on for a year.
It's like when you handed it to me, I was like, this is so thin.
This isn't what I want.
The battle boards. That's not the book I ordered. But in actual fact, I'm quite happy you ordered that one, because the thing about the scenarios book is if you're going to play scenarios, it's good for you both to have books that you can mull over at home, and then you can come and go, did you see that scenario? Yes, rather than someone to have to go, let's do this and try and explain everything.
Yeah. Well, the scenario book's handy because if you're not aware of Saga, the rule book is very cheap. The rule book's like £10-15. Yeah. I think it's a tenner actually.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's tiny, but regardless of whether you're going to play Age of Magic, Dark Age,
the rule book's tiny, but you need to buy a book that has battle boards.
So any of these actual universe books all work off the same mini rule book and mini scenario book. So those two books, regardless of what you're going to play, are handy to have. But,
Ben, are you going to be dusting off any minis?
Come on, play
I am
Saga
quite
with
tempted by
us.
this. Like, I did see this and I was thinking about it, but I think I would more veer towards Warlords of Erewhon, I think. Yeah. I kind of enjoy what they're doing with that mechanically, and I like the whole sort of dice in the bag kind of thing as well. So of the two, I think I'd prefer Warlords of Erewhon. But
the fact that you can do both with one army is great. So it'll be Burrows and Badgers in Erewhon and in...
I could do exactly that. I've got enough of them. So.
Yeah. Do that. Bring them over here. Play us.
And I'm still looking to build my Skelly army.
Skelly Bobs. Yeah.
Because like the Wargames Factory stuff's been reincarnated into the Warlord game. Yeah. And I seen someone put a picture of it on Facebook recently, and I was going, I really should get a box of them. Yeah. They look really nice. I even think there might even be a box of them floating around in here somewhere.
Yeah. You'll find I've already assembled 5 of them with a random assortment of weapons, so unlucky.
Because I got my Games Workshop box of Skelly, still not a big £50 box. Yeah. With the big beastie that I don't want, but I upsold myself. So I was kind of looking at one box, and the guy comes over, and I think, I can resist. And then he uses this Jedi mind trick on me.
And sells the eyes, not around the eyes, look into my eyes, not around the eyes, not above the eyes, not below the eyes, look into my eyes.
And sells me the whole starter kit. He's like, yeah, because you'll get your skeleton warriors, and you'll get your mounted skeletons, and then you get your big beastie for essentially £2. And I went, a big beastie for £2? Here's my £50. And I walked out. And I looked at it and went, why in the hell did I just buy this? I only went in for a box of skeleton bloody warriors. See, I totally got upsell. Look at this shit that Anyway, I need to build those, and then I could be playing those in Age of Sigmar, Age of Magic,
Warlords of Erewhon.
Yep. Oh man, it's so good to be in the fantasy realm at this point. You've got like so many options.
Future's bright.
Oh, so bright. Right. Star Wars. Everyone's favourite franchise. Yep. Well, not everyone's favourite franchise, but a hell of a lot of us like it. Something new's come out.
All the good people's favourite franchise.
Something new and tasty's out, Ben.
Yeah, so there's 2 new boxes were previewed this week by Fantasy Flight Games, 2 new Unity expansions for the Rebels. This time, and they're sticking true to what they've always been saying about what they're doing right now for Star Wars Legion, and going into the films and making sure all the units from the films are done. And this is a set of Tauntaun riders. So yes, get all the quotes out of the way now, and also a set of Rebel veterans. So obviously the Tauntaun riders are there to kind of give you a little bit more of a speedy option for your Rebel force. They are armed with pistols, which is pretty cool for shooting stuff around, but also the Tauntauns can get stuck in and claw and bite as well if you really want to. I think you'll be using these probably more as a harassing unit than you will be anything else. But as well as that, they also announced the Rebel veterans, as I was saying, which they're a little bit more grizzled and a little bit more hardened than the regular troopers, and they come with some special weapons in there as well for sort of like, defending objectives and things like that too. We'll hopefully get into a little bit more detail about these in the future, because Fantasy Flight Games always do a little bit more of their sort of preview work in sort of like the run up to the release of these models. But this is quite a welcome addition for a lot of people that want to try and do their Hoth forces in a bit more detail and sort of replay those battles out from the screen on the tabletop. So yeah.
What's going on with the Tauntauns though? Not one single one line on its side with a big gaping hole?
Well, if you remember, we got the ATST as a model first, and then a little while later they did release the broken one on its side as a bit of terrain. So maybe we'll get a carved up Tauntaun at some point, not too distant. Or a couple of Wampas.
With like half people that you can stick into it.
It's all good. I had that model when I was a kid, pushing Luke into the little flappy bits.
Oh yeah, it did have a flappy bit. Yeah. It was weird, wasn't it? Because like I think you could push them in from the top as well to ride the things around, or something weird like that. And then there was that flap bit, so you could reenact the famous scene.
The scene. You're just pushing them in. But it's interesting when you look at the Tauntaun. It is you can just about see on the card that it has a movement of 3.
Yeah.
So it's quick. It's almost as quick as a speeder, except it doesn't get the speeder bonus move at the start. And it has agile of 1. So whenever you move, you get a dodge token, which means they're going to be incredibly difficult to get rid of because they're just going to be running about the place dodging all incoming shots. That is going to be a terribly nasty harassing unit.
Which is cool because it represents the kind of speed that they go in the movie because they can shift.
Oh yeah. Oh, they can fairly book it when they need to. And as we were talking about with myself and Justinian, we're unboxing some of the Rebel Pathfinders. They've included a few aliens.
Yeah.
So it's not just humans all the time. And again, we've got one in here. There's a Celestin.
Right in the middle there.
Which is the same sort of alien that Lando flies the Falcon with, little Nyenub. And if based on the other boxes, he's probably going to turn out to be a clever leader because they've used the aliens to be better leaders. You can have your generic leader, or you can have a little named one with better abilities.
Yeah, because they stand out on the table.
They stand out on the table, different. And they did it for the Pathfinders. Both of the aliens in there were 2 very different leaders. Well, actually, they weren't leaders; they were support weapons, but they were very different. So I assume we'll get something similar with the Celestin there,
which would be cool.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to see the hairy wee one from Rogue One. It was on the gun.
Oh yes.
There wasn't nearly enough of him in that movie.
No, I think he was from the race of Merkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Mercia.
From Mercia.
Probably was.
I would imagine so.
And if he isn't, that's what they should have written down. The Merkins from Mercia. That'd be awesome. Ben, speaking of mythical places like Mercia, we're going to move on. We got Mythic Games are releasing on general release now, is it?
So towards the end of this year, in Q4 of this year, Mythic Games are going to be releasing Time of Legends Joan of Arc as a retail core box. So if you missed out on the Kickstarter and you on the Player Manager and all that kind of thing, and you really want to still get into the game, or you missed out and you've seen other people playing around with it as well, because it should be delivering quite soon to Kickstarter backers, you're going to have an option to do that. It will feature, obviously, the 2 armies of the English and the French, and it will follow the stories of Joan of Arc and her clashes with the English as well. And interestingly, as you will have seen if you've followed anything to do with Time of Legends Joan of Arc, it will also look at the historical stuff and also throwing in a little bit of the fantastical as well. So including in the box, you'll have things like the monstrous cockatrice there, and of course you've got things like there's a really cool werewolf in there as well, so you've got like a little bit of a werewolf hunt in the village, which is really nice. And this also brings me on to the other side of this. So as well as the big battles to be played out, there's also going to be options for playing out a little bit more of a narrative scenario on the tabletop as well. So you've got like things like a werewolf hunt and that kind of thing, and sort of looking around for treasures and stuff on the board. So as well as it being a battle game, it's also a narrative game as well, which I think is one of the big strengths of this. It is in 15mm, so if you haven't seen this before, it's all in 15mm scale, which is really, really cool. All the models are very, very nicely high detailed, and it'll be really awesome to see how this one goes at retail and what they do for expansion boxes in the future as well. I think there's 5 scenarios included in the box, which are like only as part of this core set. So if you want to get stuck into that, watch out for that towards the end of this year. And obviously, Mythic Games are doing a whole bunch of other things this year as well. So they're really upping their game. Yeah,
which would be cool. Like, I look forward to this being on general release, so more people can try it out.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of the guys have played it in here and they've really liked it, but I've never managed to get the time to sit down and get it
when they're over.
Play it. So this is like opening it up now to those who weren't in early.
Whenever you look at a lot of the big Kickstarter games these days, if you are unsure, and even you could watch a video on a Kickstarter and then that may not be the game that finally makes it into the box because it goes through playtesting and tweaking afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a lot of money to throw down on a game that you might be in 2 minds over. But if it's going to be sitting on a shelf in a shop or sitting on a website that you can go and buy it without having to worry about you've only got 30 days to back this or you're not going to see it. It's great to see because it does. I know there's been a few people online in the community in various places looking at games and going, oh, that game's it's only available for X number of days on the Kickstarter and it's never going to retail. They're artificially limiting it and you're going, well, that's not what the company's doing. The company might be doing something like claustrophobia. They couldn't physically put it on a shelf in a shop. It wasn't economically viable.
Yeah.
For Monolith to do that. So the fact that that was the only way they could release it is the only way they could release it. The fact that Mythic are going, well, here's a smaller version of a game that you can get in your local shop, and you don't have to worry about backing it during that 1 month only, or whatever it happens to be on the pledge. And actually getting it out there to the wider public is great. And 15mm Saga is also great. So
I think that's actually a key thing. Like, for a lot of people, maybe they haven't played games at this smaller scale, and this might be a really nice in for people to play games at a smaller scale, so 15mm, and then potentially go on from there to do something in a more of a wargaming sense. So
they'll already have 2 armies.
What's in this box?
Well, yeah.
Is this a slightly different version of the box, or what's the crack?
I'm not entirely sure of exactly what the contents are. They haven't revealed that just yet, but we do know that obviously it has the 2 characters. So you've got Joan of Arc and you've got the English commander as well. You've got the 2 armies and of course a whole bunch of monsters too. So hopefully they'll reveal that in a little bit more detail very, very soon. So
because I love the cockatrice.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that. Is that in the box?
Yes, that is.
Oh yes. Yeah. Because I looked at that, I have a cockatrice I haven't painted yet.
Yeah.
Because I was getting ready for wait for it, Saga fantasy stuff.
Really? You surprise us.
And I'm looking at this one going, that's 15mm, but for me, that might just be like a little cockatrice.
It's probably
if
that's 15mm on a base, then that's probably a 30-40mm base that's on.
It's quite big.
Yeah.
It could flutter around rightly.
Oh yeah. You don't want one of those pecking your eyes out.
Yeah, because you've been pestering me. I don't know if you've seen it, but on the backstage show, we've talked about taking games from 28 down to 15.
Yes.
And basically just taking, like, for example, Saga, we're going to use exactly the same rule set.
Yeah.
But instead of 1 miniature per base, it's going to be 3.
Yeah, 3.
But it's going to play exactly the same.
Yeah.
So you can have a bigger looking game when in actual fact you're playing exactly the same size of game. So it takes exactly the same size of amount of time.
Yeah.
So you're eyeballing this out going, oh, I could have a commander for this and I can have a commander for that.
I'm looking at that going, at some point there will be a medieval Saga. I'd be very surprised if there won't be, because they can just do it in different genres, at different flavours and different times. They've already done Dark Ages and Crusades. As long as they stay away from sort of too late, where you've got too much black powder. I wouldn't go beyond pike and shot, but definitely, if there's not a medieval Saga within the next year or so, I'll eat my. Actually, no, because I know they're doing feudal Japan, so it'll probably come first. But at some point, Joan of Arc will make it to the tabletop in Saga. I'm just saying, it will.
But do they not peel off into playing Lion Rampant and stuff? Then at that point,
can do if you want.
I mean, if you want a bit of medieval action, you can do Lion Rampant.
I
Same
mean,
models and stuff.
I mean, I can do it immediately through Lion Rampant. I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm just saying there will be a medieval Saga at some point. There will.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, to get back on track, if this has little buildings and stuff in it, because when I see them playing in here, I was immediately sucked in and go, oh, I want to give this. I want to give this a go, but they didn't have time at the time for me to have a go. Yeah. And ever since then, I've kind of looked at it and gone, I really wanted to have a go at that. So now coming out the general release, that's really cool.
Because they've even had a full castle was part of the Kickstarter. So there was castle walls. Yeah.
Oh, it was so sweet, that castle as well.
It was gorgeous.
Oh, man. Have we anything else to talk about? Oh, no, we can keep talking about this.
Keep talking about that.
The castle was amazing. Because like they had it like, it looked like a 4 foot sort of, it would be amazing on a 4 foot gaming table at 15mm.
15mm, it would look superb. You could either have it just at one end of the board as the short sort of edge that people are attacking towards. You can have it like about 2 foot in. You could have some of the interior town and then just run up and over.
Oh, Mythic, come on.
Inside it.
Make that available too. Oh, I so want it. Oh, I really do. Right, we're getting sidetracked. We've got an interview. We've got an interview with Colin.
Why are you sidetracking us?
Yeah, Ben, that's your fault. We have an interview with Colin from Battle Systems.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
He's over talking to Justin, and he's run through some of the upcoming stuff from Course, Base, and Battle Systems.
So, new box sets and stuff like that?
Well, reboxing and bringing up to date some of their older ranges.
Hey everybody, I've been joined by Colin, and today we're going to have a quick chat about the terrain ranges that are currently made by the guys at Battle Systems. So, Colin, we've had you on the show for many years now.
Yes, many years.
If anybody hasn't seen this company yet, Seriously, get out more. But for those that haven't, I would like to have a quick chat just about what you guys create and what sort of the philosophy is with the terrain that you guys make.
Okay, well, we're gamers, that's why we're doing this. Yeah, I mean, the thing about any game is that, for me, it's all about the immersion when you're playing the game. So I want to be able to, I don't want just like a sheet with some books, thrown over a table, some books after. That's how I started. And then I started adding more and more stuff over the, and I was just like, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. So, I'm 45 now, but going back when I was like 13, it was all about the terrain environment for me, and that's what Battle Systems has been about. It's the immersion for the game. Yeah,
it's one thing I've discussed more than once on the show is that whenever you can do an epic backdrop to a game, it just makes it more fun. Yep. I mean, like the advent of neoprene mats was a huge thing in the industry for me. I know it sounds boring, but whenever I can look at the background of my tabletop and just see the world, and then seeing terrain on top of that matches in with it,
totally,
it just makes it so much more fun.
Well, the thing is that as with most gamers, it's all about the miniatures, and of course, they're the main characters. You want to spend all of your time focusing on your characters and your time painting it. If you then want to do the terrain as well, you're going to have to focus as much, if not more, time building, creating, and painting your terrain. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, I don't want to do this. So I want to be able to have terrain that Battle Systems focus on, which is basically pre-printed. It's so there's no painting required. Yep. No gluing required, and you just literally no cutting. You just stick it all together, straight from the box. Punch it out, push it, stick it on the table. It's ready to play. It's
less work, more play.
Yeah, much less work. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for you guys, I mean, you've been doing this for quite a while now, and you've actually went through quite a few different genres.
Yes, we've definitely gone through the genres over the time, and it's time to visit a few others as well. So
No, that I'll get to, because I kind of want to pick your brain about what sort of places you want to go, but I'm gonna save that for another time.
Okay.
For the moment, where can people currently visit? What genres can people visit with Battle Systems?
Okay, so we've got two main areas that we focus on at the moment. We've got our science, our sci-fi basically, and our urban range. Yeah. So mostly we're all about sci-fi. We had a big product launch just over a year ago, which really just filled up all our areas of the sci-fi. We'd already previously done some urban terrain as well. So those are the two main areas that you can jump into right now.
Well, I mean, like, you've given me some images just to have a quick look through. Now, one of the first ones we ever saw you guys do was the dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dungeon was such a gorgeous idea.
Yes, the dungeon's really is a really nice environment. It is exactly what you said. It's a dungeon. You really get an opportunity to sort of explore. There's so many games out there that just work wonders with this particular terrain. And as you can see, it's immersion.
It's exactly that. Because I mean, like if you're running, say, a D&D party through a scenario, and you really want to give them the sense of crawling through tombs, hidden parts to it.
Yeah.
Your DM, if he's got the time beforehand, can sit down, set it up.
Totally.
If you're someone who's playing something like Frostgrave, and you want to do something a little more open, but you're inside the ruins of a castle. And,
correct.
You're having nice lines of sight. You can do like multi-level and stuff.
Totally.
And being able to do multi-level is something that whenever I was creating terrain myself and building tables myself, it was something that was a little more difficult to do. I would get like a couple of bean tins and put a bit of cardboard between them.
That's how I started.
Yeah, but this, it gives you those, the way I describe it, it's easy epic backdrops.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned you've done some of the post-apocalyptics, the urban stuff.
Yeah.
This I really love because, I mean, I love playing The Walking Dead. It's the instant game I think of.
It is a cracking game.
Of this terrain, and it's just, okay, I'm crawling and creeping through the suburbs trying to avoid the walkers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes it all goes to pot, and oh damn, now somebody started shooting. Or the other crew, I'm looking at them going, you've got a tin of beans, I want that tin of beans. I know I'm focused on beans right now.
You are a little.
But again, it's really nice to have, and having internal details. is something that's huge for me as well.
Yeah.
I love it whenever I can go inside buildings and actually see everything that would be in there. Because, I mean, you guys went nuts. You did furniture and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, for me, it is about the interiors as well. Every building that we have, you can go inside. In fact, most of our sets are literally just huge internal sets of space stations. And you know, it's like our urban apocalypse arena. You know, these buildings, you can take the roof off, you can go inside, you can open the garage door, you can stick a little car in there. You know, it's really important.
You've even done the incidental bits, like little bits of wood, pallets, park benches, you know, barricades for the street.
I always say when people open our terrain, don't chuck anything away. So all these little bits of scatter and things like here that you can see across here, this is all the little punched out parts from the fence over there. So, you know, often people push out those punch parts. What we do is we put artwork on them to make sure it bleeds all the way through, because it's those final scatterings of things that bring the environment together.
Yeah, well, like there's times whenever I've been laying out tables. A while back I did some stuff where I did like a beautiful like winter fantasy village.
Excellent.
And so we had like raised platforms, big buildings. It was gorgeous. And I looked at it and I went, yeah, it's kind of missing something. And then I found a little set of lampposts.
Okay.
They did absolutely nothing in game, but you put it down and it makes the world feel lived in.
Well, you said it did nothing, but did you enjoy the game more because of it?
Yes, but mechanically it did nothing.
It did nothing, yeah, exactly.
We actually had some of the models would actually walk over them, crush them, and we were making screeching sounds. And again, it's just little thematic things like that. And
excellent.
Having those things just makes it so good. And it's something you guys do so well. Because, I mean, like, your sci-fi range, oh my god, the amount of furniture you do for your sci-fi range.
We do a lot, yeah.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're going through a process at the moment of re-releasing a lot of our sci-fi ranges. We're going to be hitting retail and everything as well.
Yep.
So we've redesigned all our boxes and made sure we've done it all properly so that it can go on the shelves in the shop to be picked up. Yeah.
Although 334 people, holy moly. I'm looking at the back of the box and seeing a massive contents list.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do things by half, basically. We're known for that on our Kickstarters, you know. Often people will run a Kickstarter with a stripped out play. We just like, here's this great big thing, and then we try and add as much as we possibly can to it.
Nothing wrong with that. Aside from, you know, you guys having to pick and pack and pick and pack.
Well, there is that. But I mean, when you buy a box of terrain, you just get everything you need. There's, you know, it is a huge and it's really densely packed.
You've got your shanty towns here as well.
Yeah.
This is one that I particularly like for running core space.
Yeah.
Because I love the idea of taking it away from space stations and stuff, and, you know, I've landed my crew just, you know, next to this little outland settlement on a world. You know,
totally.
Everything's a little bit beat down, broken.
Yeah.
But there's so much you can do with it.
There is. I mean, the shanty's really good. It's one of our most popular terrain sets that we've ever done. And I think it's because it's so versatile. Obviously, for our own game core space, you can see that it's it's the backwater area. The galaxy's a big place, and there's plenty of worlds that are not really that well developed as well. But you could get away with sort of, you know, remove some of the bits and pieces. When I did the artwork, I was thinking there's a little bit of sort of orc building-y kind of stuff you can put in there. Fallout.
Do a little bit of Infinity in there if you want.
It's the shanty town is so popular with Infinity, it's unreal. Yeah. So
now, there's one thing I'm seeing here which I hadn't noticed until now. So. The actual clip system you use, those look like you've redesigned them, have you?
Yes, we have, yeah. So we've got a clip system we've been using for a long time, which was perfectly good. But as we're getting bigger, we need to produce those in a different way for it to be the most cost-effective way for us to produce that across the range. So while we was doing that, I was like, okay, well, see if I can just add a little bit of extra stability to the clips and just make them the way I always wanted to. And that's what we've done. Yeah, so they're a little bit stronger. They're a little bit.
They've got a little more grip on the actual component.
They have, yeah. And so again, yeah, you're right. You can see the new clips on there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like the idea that you're not scared to go back to a staple component of your product and actually say, you know what, I can do this better.
Definitely.
You know, now that there's more experience and more connections there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love how full everything feels.
Yeah. So again, you've got plenty of wide open environments to kind of battle through, but every area on here all the towers and everything like that, they very easily just lift off. So you've got access into every room, and you'll have furniture in those rooms, and of course all the cargo crates open, and you can put in components from our core space game or any components from games that you might be playing. So excellent.
For me, it's just, I always love how full it feels. I've said it already, but there are times whenever I'll lay out a gaming table and it feels empty. And this just, it feels full. It feels like a living, breathing area that you're playing through.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really, really important to me in games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, again. Oh.
Yeah. So the last one, the Galactic, was kind of quite shiny. This is a bit more run down, a little bit more industrial, kind of sci-fi. And again, it's, I mean, if you wanted to, you can set your Galactic setup in the same way as this. All the sets are completely modular. You don't have to build what we build for you.
Yeah, it's one thing I saw John do a while back. He actually took the Galactic set and this set and merged them. So there was a really nice clean side to a table, and then you go through like an access door and suddenly you're into the darker, grimier, more, this is
the engine
where
room.
the workaday engineering guys are working.
Absolutely. And you can see it's sprawling. You said about multi-level. You can go as high or as low as you want. You can build it up high like that. Or you know what, you could say, well, actually, I just want I want a simple sort of crawling system. You could actually take all of that content from the top, get an extra mat, and just spread the two over, and have like a big 4-foot area, just all spread out, single level. Very quick and easy to build. So,
but it's the incidental, the things you think about whenever you're making this. Because on here, I'm seeing venting ducts, I'm seeing control consoles, I'm seeing storage lockers built into the walls. Now, even the print that you're doing, you've got cabling and stuff running and printed onto that.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that it's printed onto that, because sometimes you'll get stuff like that and it leaves your model sitting at a weird angle.
Yep. I'm really, for me, I was always frustrated you're growing up, whether it was a board game or even often a computer game. You play some sort of dungeon game and you walk into these rooms, there's nothing in there. It's like, well, why would there be a room with nothing in it? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So any train I've always done, I've always added all the cool things that bring it alive.
And then again, all the neon signs and stuff that you've got going around here.
This is our cyberpunk terrain, so this is the future. This is you're going to get your neon signs and your all that cool stuff that goes along with being in that kind of dystopian type future, as it were.
Ooh, something a bit more gothic.
Absolutely, definitely. So this is our Gothic crawler. Again, this is a massively popular set, but we're bringing back into print because we're
I would sell for something like Kill Team.
Of course.
Very tight, or even Necromunda.
Of course.
Very self-contained, very tight. You're just sneaking around corners, nice skirmishing stuff.
Absolutely, and this is a single level set, so it's incredibly fast to set up. Again, you add the scattering, and you've got a gaming environment really, really quickly. Very immersive, actually.
Yeah, and this was one that I've actually seen in the flesh. Having this where I can have characters playing on different levels, searching and hunting through different levels,
totally,
is great. And actually having the ability to access them really quickly just with lifting stuff off is so good.
Totally, I mean, like you've got the main central sort of building there. We've literally done it so you've got 6 or even 7 levels of and you start at the top and you have to kind of battle your way through the block, if you like, lifting off each level until you make it out into the streets. So you can really have some fun with the
Well, I mean, one thing I would love to do with the set like this is actually get multiples of the big tall building.
Yes.
And do like a skyscraper. And you've seen the movie Attack the Block?
Yes,
Do that as like a homebrew set,
absolutely,
down and out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I was saying. We have had that big fight and work your way out into the street, and it's just a different way to play. It's quite good fun, and we also built one out of the sci-fi as well, and did a kind like Judge Dredd. Did the the big city block and worked your way down. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
And then of course this has led you to being able to do core space.
Yeah, like I said, when I was designing the sci-fi range, we were already designing core space. So our new game comes with the cyberpunk terrain in the box anyway, and it's fully compatible with all of our sci-fi and our shanty, and everything. It works seamlessly.
It means you can expand the game instantly.
Yes,
which is what I love. I mean, like I can go from here inside the cyberpunk stuff. I can actually go out here to like a lovely outpost. Again, slightly multi-level, but it doesn't have to be insanely multi-level.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
and then, just adding little bits of scatter to add that little bit of an extra to it is so nice.
Absolutely. And we've got everything on everything you need for a nice contained area. And often as well with when you're playing games, you might have a game that works on like a 3x3 area. Once you start actually putting buildings on and you go a little bit multi-level, you can make your gaming area smaller, because it takes you a little bit longer to get in, and then you've got to go up and what you're doing, you're getting your second the space you're losing around the edge. Then, if you like, gets transported inside the building and on the levels, so you can fit it much easier on a table when you're gaming at home, so you need less space and you can still play those games that you love.
Well, I mean, like playing on something like this, it would even tactically make me think differently as to how do I want my guys moving? Do I want to be going for that staircase, or do I want to be running through a building to actually then get to the staircase? Am I going to try and run around the outside? Am I actually going to go through a front door, a back door? Okay, my buddy's coming up there. Can I get up a staircase to maybe get a sneaky line on him and keep some cover?
Absolutely,
It just opens up your possibilities.
It's really important, because whenever I started out playing like 40k and whatever, that was what it was about when I was a kid. I'd make my own terrain, and I'd get to a building and I'd take cover behind the building, and then things happen. It's like, where do I go now? I'd just think, well, I'll go in the building, but I couldn't. So now you're hiding behind a building and it all comes up. You're like, right, well, I'm not going to survive this, so I'll just go through the door. And then once you're in there, you can lift off the section, find out what's in there, and just and carry on gaming.
You might lift off the section and find that there's someone waiting on you.
Well, that is often the case.
Well, it's something I've seen in games. If I can't see a thing, I'll forget it.
Absolutely.
So if my opponent actually put like a squad inside one of these buildings and left them there doing nothing for a turn or two, I'd go, okay, I need to get inside this building. I need to get cover. I walk in, it's just like, oh,
yeah. It absolutely happens when if I'm playing a game of core space, it's very easy to kind of ambush somebody, because you will just put a player out of sight. Because there's walls, there's crates, there's cargo, there's things to block sight, and you just like leave them. And then what happens is the person forgets, runs down the corridor, and there's the ambush straight away.
But it's fabulous when that happens. And again, I mean, like you say, especially in the multi-level stuff, you have so many places to actually hide.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's such a different thing to experience.
It is really, really good. And of course, you can if you're creating your own games, you can create your own kind of fog of war as well, because you can hide things in certain rooms and you can preset characters up, and you really can't see them unless you're getting your character up close and looking through the window, for a window wall, which is kind of thematic anyway.
I've seen myself looking down and in through. I mean, even here, I can just about see someone hiding inside this building.
Absolutely.
I can just about see his legs, and I'm just like, who's that?
There you go. So we've got
a couple of guys
in there already having a bit of a tussle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But again, it's different ways to play, and then whenever you see everybody standing just inside the actual set and you get right down in close, it looks like that movie screenshot. It looks like they're just having that battle, really having it, and oh, that's just so good.
Yeah, it's what it's all about. It's like I said, it's all about the immersion for me. And you're going to spend time painting your miniatures. You're going to, I want everybody to focus on the miniatures and do that, and just say, now I want a terrain environment. Empty the box and off you go. Yeah.
All right. Important question. I'm maybe catching you a little off guard, but if people are wanting to come and see you guys this year at like gaming shows and stuff, do you know which ones you're turning up to?
Okay. Yeah. So at the moment, the two main shows that we're going to be doing are going to be the UK Expo. Okay. We've done that 7 or 8 years now. I can't remember. What a cracking family show! It's just honest, and it's right up the road from me, so it's a big tick.
It's in Birmingham.
It's literally 15 minutes for me. So
right, so hang on, if you
I'm rubbing it in.
Day one, you'll nip home, grab more stock, and back in.
Exactly, yeah. So that's where Battle Systems wins at that show. But we're there because it is it's one of the ultimate shows. I mean, it's the ultimate show in the UK.
Yeah.
The next one after that we've got planned is another big one, which is the opposite end of the hassle one for us, which is Essen. And Essen is a 10-hour drive. So
you drive?
Yeah, we drive. Yeah, we drive through the tunnel and everything, because with Battle Systems we've got our terrain sets that we and it's a 9-hour setup for us, because we've got got a huge stand and we've got every single terrain set that we've got. We can't have that, we're just control freaks.
Yeah. Although I love doing Essen just because you're over there. It's a beautiful city. It's a really nice vibe for that show as well.
It is. Yeah, we did actually our first Essen last year, and I was not disappointed. It's in the same way it's a UK Expo. Everybody's just fantastic there. It's just 6 times the size.
It's one of the things I always say, if someone's thinking of trying to get a friend or family member into gaming, bring them to one of these shows, because they get, I know it's something I'm really bad at whenever I try and explain gaming to my family and my friends who don't game. Actually having somewhere you can take them and just say, look, it's a day out, it's on me, let's go.
Yeah, and often people want to see things in the flesh as well, or in the cardboard. So what they do is they'll come over, and that's what we do. We have everything out so you can just poke it with a stick and prod it and go, what's this about? Lift things off, dive inside. We've always got a couple of tables of core space running as well. So if you want to run through a few rounds of core space to see how that plays, we've got the demo tables there. So we're there to come to our stand, pick up some great terrain, or come to our stand and just play a few rounds of cool games, or come to our stand, just have a chat.
You see, it's something I love as well, is there's something really enjoyable about actually seeing a thing, wanting it, and then being able to walk home with it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's something I always lose out on whenever it's like an online purchase.
You do, yeah.
Because you see it, you want it, you buy it, and then you're waiting a couple of weeks for it. Now,
yeah.
I know it's not a huge thing to wait for stuff to arrive, but there's something nice just to have it in your hand and have that, I got it.
Look, I enjoy shopping.
Yeah.
We
all enjoy shopping.
I enjoy any shopping. So, I enjoy popping round Sainsbury's or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Other supermarkets are available, obviously. But
not sponsored by Battle.
Yeah. If I enjoy shopping, if I can go to a games show, I'm just in heaven.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, like anytime we're there covering a show, between doing interviews, if I've just interviewed someone who I see they've done something really nice, I was just like, do I need to eat this month?
Well, there is a downside sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, everybody, get your comments in below. Tell us, do you like the battle systems terrain range, and are you going to come and see the guys this year at one of the shows they're attending? We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
So it was really nice to see Colin there and to see the range that he's actually brought out, because I think a lot of people, if you haven't been paying attention to battle systems, there's been a couple of Kickstarters that have focused on the sort of the dungeon system and the sci-fi, but
that dungeon in a box thing.
But now that you actually know or been looking at him, he's been working away in between and filling out and fleshing out those ranges, and then adding cyberpunk and then the shanty towns and the industrial. There's just so much more there, and with the idea that core space will be there as well, where you could expand into any of them. So it's really interesting to see.
Which is cool, because the core space box set, I've seen it, and it's a good set.
Yeah.
The terrain and stuff you get in that, and the miniatures and things.
It looks lovely, and you could quite happily pick up the shanty town, which is a sort of very dilapidated, almost District 9 sort of feel to it, and still have your core space through that sort of, not everything's shiny in the future.
And
we've all seen Firefly.
Yeah, and not to dwell on it too much, but the characters and stuff would really fit into doing a whole Firefly type thing, because you've got that feel. And then I had looked at through the way you get board game type releases and it's repeats and stuff like that. I looked through, there's no repeats in it anywhere.
No, it's all unique stuff, so it's good to see. I'll be looking forward to see what else is coming. So.
Yeah, cool. Right, it's time for Age of Trains.
Age of Trains.
Yeah, so Foreground have their train. Like, this is the one here that we've seen last year. Now, since last year, they've been releasing the wagons and stuff. When the wagons have come in, this is the first time I've really had the chance to sit down and have a good look at them.
That's because we knew that no work would be done coming up to
just check it out there, and then wait for it. Oh, look at that! Look at all the carriages. We've got one on the end there. It doesn't quite fit.
Yeah,
but this is it. This is epic. This is what I was waiting for, right? Because when the train came out, I was like, excited about it. So Western style train, but I was still excited about it because it goes well with their Dead Hands Hand sort of range and stuff here, which we have bits and pieces. But the thing about the train is that it's just a locomotive. Yeah. It's it's not a train. It's a locomotive at the minute, and then the wagons come out. Now we have a train.
You can't tell that he's but
This is the moment.
A bit nerdy about those things.
This is the moment.
That's not train by itself. That's just the engine.
That's not a train. That's the locomotive.
Yeah.
But this is the moment where it goes from locomotive to train. And this is the bit where, for me, it becomes like a proper bit of wargaming.
Yeah.
Like paraphernalia?
Paraphernalia. Yeah.
Paraphernalia. Because look, you can get in the wagons and stuff. The way they've all built it. Oh man, look! You can fit miniatures in among the seats and stuff. The doors fling open? Oh yes. Doors open. This is it. Like, because there's no point in just putting the engine down and having a fight around the end. Well, you can do.
You can.
But now you've got the guts of a Western town here. I mean, we're sitting on a sci-fi mat, right? But we already have a Western town well underway.
Yeah. And there's absolutely no reason why there couldn't be a couple of gunslingers working their way carriage by carriage towards each other through there.
Oh yes, Age of Gunslingers.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's the way of the future.
Saga Gunslingers.
Saga Gunslingers.
But yeah, I'm excited about it because especially for Westerns, like a train track and a train is kind of the central point of a Western town.
Yeah, they're always iconic.
And the thing is with wargaming is to get a train that's this scale, we should really have some miniatures. Here's a miniature. No, there was some miniatures. Throw me one of those.
One of these.
That'll do. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Right? To get a train that actually at this scale, this scale here, right, is actually kind of expensive.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at O gauge and stuff, which is kind of where you're up to in size here, they're really expensive really quickly. So there's been a need for something like this.
Yeah.
To come out for a while.
Doesn't just sit on the table, but actually scales to everything else that's on the table.
Let me get a nice close up for you. If I can get my hands out of the way. I mean, that's just cool. This is like the central point of your game right here. Because I know in the club here in the suite, they've been playing a Western game a couple of times now.
Legends of the Old West, which is a nice wee game, and it's not alone. I mean, there's Dead Man's Hand, and then there's even Wild West Exodus. To be brutally honest,
Tombstone as well from Black Scorpion.
Yeah. So it appeals to quite a few games, and Wild West Exodus is a good one to mention.
Yeah,
slightly bigger.
It's 32 mil, but then the likes of these buildings have been made with 32 mil in mind because they do a 28 mil version. Yeah. So if you're playing Tombstone or Legends of the Old West, which use the sort of the older miniatures or not even older, more regular scale, these buildings look slightly out of proportion because they've deliberately widened the doors and lengthened the windows, but they do both sets. So you can go, right, well, I'm going to be mostly playing Wild West. I'll need the 32 mil. I'm going to be mostly playing Legends of the Old West. I'll go for the 28 mil. Yeah.
But it doesn't really bother me either way because you can put them beside each other and it all blends pretty well together.
Yeah, it's literally just the doors and windows.
So like Wild West Exodus, Dead Man's Hand, all sorts of games. But the thing is, they had a train and stuff going, but it didn't. It looked nice, Tony. Your train does look nice. But this sort of thing takes it to another level. And this ability to get this in this state, like you just put it together and it already looks painted, is just awesome. And I'll probably take some time and actually start thinking, well, do you know what, if I paint some brass here and there and start doing some touch up. I might talk about that in the backstage a bit more possibly. But let's have a look at some of the, can we throw the
do you want the cattle car?
Yeah, cattle car up. Let's have a wee look at that. So here we go on the outside. Doors on this side open. Let's pop the lid. Oh, this is cool. It just pops off. In we go. Look, you can open these.
So you can put a cattle in and out. Yeah. If only we brought some cows in with us. I know there's toy ones about.
There we go. Look at that.
You could put a shark in there.
Let me just turn around the other side. But this is it, right? If you get a load of these and a load of these, right, and you forgo the Western style engine, you can even put this into bolt action.
Yeah.
Oh, because God, yes, although it's maybe a Wild West sort of styled saloon car. Or
there's not a huge amount of difference between
car. It's not a huge amount of difference. And if I could get the lid back on,
to you,
it goes on. It goes on. Yeah, but I was talking to them about that. That's because that's the lid for that. Is it? Yes, that's what it's doing. Yeah, I was talking to them about that, and they're saying, well, I can say they're pretty keen on the idea of bringing out a more European style train as well. So you can build up a Western train, get the wagons, but then put a European train on the front.
Yeah,
and suddenly it just sits for bold action. Yeah, and you're just like, oh yes.
Although I do want to see a armored version if they are going to start introducing trains and bolt action.
See, I'm not that well. I'll take an armored version.
Oh yeah,
but I'll take a regular train first.
Well, yeah.
Because like regular trains are what most of the troops are shipped around on, and supplies and stuff. And then you take your red carriages, and they have right. So they've currently got. Well, we have stuff.
We have stuff here.
We have other stuff in the range.
Yeah,
like,
so you're not limited to just having your red rolling stock. They are currently doing
black,
and I think there was a green one as well.
Yeah, further down the page there should be a green one. At least when we were searching for trains, so they had a green one.
Yeah,
they had black ones and they had red ones. And the great thing about that is, during that period of time, every different company had its own livery.
Yeah.
So you mix it all together, and you suddenly got a really interesting. Because for me, yeah, you've got the tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
As you see here, I don't know if they do curves and things yet. Maybe if you can look there, but even if they don't,
I've only seen straight so far.
Yeah, for me that's good because all I really want is like 2 or 3 straights.
Yeah.
All cutting through the middle of a board at like an angle.
Yeah.
And then you get these. Even if you don't have the engine, even if you just put the wagons down and moving your tanks and stuff through it, because we've done that in here a few times with some toy trains and stuff.
Almost like a yard.
Yes.
Where they're just parked up.
But it's never quite been the right scale. It's always felt a little bit weird. Yeah. This gives you that opportunity to do something amazing. And then you have the accessories and stuff that we have here. Like if I lift the train laid out here, if I lift this out of the way, you can see, they have little things you can add on to
so there's boardwalks and the like.
So you can use the boardwalks to make your platforms. And then to make that work, there's other risers and stuff that you can get. I'll just put that out of the way. So we're using our bank here. So we have these little risers. See that? And you can just put the buildings down on top of it, which is cool. And they just come like this, I assume. Yeah. Is this sold separately?
They are sold separately, so you can either buy kits with them included, or if you've already got some of the buildings, they do sell the risers and boardwalks as individual packs as well. So if you've already got some of them in the past, then you just need to bring them up if you're going to start putting them into your muddy westerns.
And they come in a couple of different colours. You can get the more, what's that, sort of sandy, earthy looking, woody colour ones. But the ones I like the most is the washed out boardwalks and things. And it works really well. You can't see it over here. Oh man, I gotta bring it over. We just had to bring the telegraph office in. Telegraph office, right at the train.
It's a Western classic. Let's face it. Everybody comes in, gets off the train, and then immediately goes. It's 310 to Yuma. Yeah. It's good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all of those.
Yeah. So even if you don't have the train station, which they've got, if you've got some buildings like this for example is the bank. Let's see if you can see that. It says the bank. We thought, well, we'll put the bank here, and it's got a side door, so the money comes in off the train, so it becomes the money train.
Money train. Gives people something to fight over. To be perfectly honest, you could with something like this, and if it's staying in a Wild West setting, you don't even need the train in the stock.
No.
You could just get the tracks and the boardwalk and the like,
and
then your train station, and then build up your town around it, and just have the tracks running through the middle of town, or wherever, at the edge of town if needs be.
But what better gaming scenario for like a Wild West game than robbing the train?
Robbing the train.
Oh, yeah.
Train
heist is
great.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I went to see the Money Train.
Yeah.
In a cinema. Even now, in a modern sense, like robbing a train is still fun. Actually, they were showing the movie, right? And there's this bit where Wesley Snipes smashes someone's head against a glass, like a mirror.
Yeah.
And everything turns black. And the whole audience sat there for about 15 minutes while it was just black, thinking, oh, he must have blacked out. This must be part of the movie. We're experiencing him in a blacked out phase. And then a projectionist came down and said, the bulb broke. We're all sitting there watching this movie for like 15 minutes, thinking, this is really weird. You don't often get someone blacked out for this amount of time. The bulb broke. No replacement. Never got to see it. Had to go. Leave.
Wow.
That's a quality cinema right there.
Quality. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that. You can tell I'm excited about it. Here's the train station.
Yeah, here's the train station, because I know the minute you seen it, it was like, oh, I need a train station. I was like, do they do a train station?
Yeah.
Yes, they do a train station. So unfortunately, it won't get any bigger than that.
If you click the pictures down below, I think they just open in a wee window.
Oh,
that's
there we
a bit
go.
handier. So that's the front of your train station.
With its clock.
Yeah.
So you know what time it is.
That's a pretty swanky town, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing but the best for Tombstone.
There's the back.
As big as Paris in a few years.
It's even got its awnings and stuff.
Yep. So your train can just rock right up behind.
Yeah.
And once again, because it's foreground, detailed interior.
All the interiors and stuff rocking. Even coming through to the rolling stock.
Yeah.
Like, we've probably shown off before, but you can take this bit off the train here. I have a blue tacked on at the minute. What I would probably do is magnetize it. So you can pop the wee lid off and get your men standing there. If you're that particular about it.
Speaking of which, have you seen there's a coal fire burning in the engine?
What? Let's see. Oh, there is a coal fire in the engine.
Have you not noticed that?
Look at that. That's so cool. They've done a good job on that because they sent this one through built.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to build this. So it's amazing to see it built because now I can just take it and play with it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Looking forward to it so much. But yeah, I think there'll be European engines just from having a chit chat with them. It would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's something that they're going to. They've already got most of the stuff there. If you've got the track, you've got the carriages and the stuff. Yeah. You're only really having to worry about changing the skin on some of the carriages, maybe.
But even if you want a particular...
But the rest of the internals could stay the same, so that's not a major rebuild. Yeah. It's really just the locomotive itself.
Even if you want particular colours and stuff, like if you really wanted to go, oh, well, I just want it in a particular shade of green for a particular company or a particular camo and stuff, it takes the paint really well.
Yeah. Like, so if you want to do your Orient Express...
Yes.
You could. Straight in there.
That'll work for African trains, Indian trains, Oriental trains. Jobs are good,
yeah.
Well, obviously, there's differences in the rolling stock between these places.
Yeah,
but your main difference is
we don't need to be nerds about it.
Yeah, your main difference is in your engine.
Yeah,
you know, if we're not into scale modeling of trains and stuff here.
Some of us aren't, certainly.
You know, you could take this engine here, and you could Europeanize this a bit by you make this a straight up.
Yes, you remove the cowcatcher.
Yeah, take that off. Remove the cowcatcher, like you say. Paint the colors a little bit differently, and you could probably make that quite European looking, just like a more of a smaller shunter engine rather than the big powerful ones.
I can see Ben's eyes glazing. Should we talk about Saga some more, Ben? That's not going to help bring you round, is it?
We're going to have to talk about Euro Truck Simulator instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about the trains. I know they've been on their site for a while, but this is the first chance I've had an opportunity to. Oh, and I don't think they have curves and stuff, but
no, not yet.
These are what is this magnetized?
It's magnetized. They magnetize the wheels.
So. Pop it on so it can go around corners if you want. I'm not interested in corners. I'm more interested in points. Points as you can have a straight, which then goes off onto another straight, so you can have like shunting stuff around on your station and stuff. Oh man, that'd be cool. I need to be shunter. What they need some flatbed stuff to put cargo into and logs and all that sort of stuff. And then we're really talking, because if they come out with the flatbed, then you can stick tanks on it too.
Well, that's true, yeah. Actually, flatbed loader would be the way to go.
Oh, suits you, sir.
Suits you.
Gosh, right. Before I get any more excited about it, actually, we're going to have an interview with Terrain Tutor. But before we do that, during the week here, we put out a video where we were wet washing some foreground buildings, right? So you put water down and you put acrylics down, you push it into corners and stuff like that.
Stops you getting the tide marks.
Yes, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, go and check that out, because that would be a great way to weather your train and stuff. Now, are there bits that I would change on the train? If I can get in close, there probably are. Like this bit here is a bit wiggly because it's just a bit of HDF. I would probably nip that off and just put a wee bit of brass rod on that. Paint that brass.
Yeah.
These are kind of cool though. They don't really need change these wee rods and stuff. Actually, that's probably the only thing I would take off. This is the only bit that irritates me about the train is this wee bit here, because it tends to break. Because you can reach for it and just go...
Which somebody has done.
Yeah. So if you stick a wee brass rod and you reach for it, it just goes into your finger instead.
Yeah, which is fine. We're all used to that.
All wee buns. Yeah. Right, speaking of the Terrain Tutor then, so what was he here for?
Well, he's about to go to Kickstarter with, or he has just gone to Kickstarter with Dave Taylor for a book, which is all about building, let me think, terrain. Yeah.
Strangely enough.
Yeah, strangely enough. So he sat down with Justin to have a wee chat about it.
Hi everybody, I've been joined by Mel, the Terrain Tutor. Welcome to the studio, buddy.
Thanks, Justin. Hello there.
Right, so we are sitting down to talk about your new Kickstarter. So
yes,
you partnered up with Dave Taylor. Did he twist the arm and say, you are my YouTuber, you are making a book with me?
I think Dave came a hunting for me, to be perfectly honest. I mean, me and Dave, we've actually been friends for long before the channel. Way back in the day. I used to run an Imperial Guard blog called Corbania Prime.
Yeah.
And Dave obviously does his Blood Pact.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big blogger. And so we used to be mates on that. And then we sort of reconnected when I did the Terrain Tutor.
Yeah.
And we decided, we want to do a book. I've been thinking about doing a book for a while, but I've been sort of put off by the technicalities of doing a book. Yeah, whereas Dave, that's his thing.
Yeah, he used to do it in the past, and he's recently went through the process.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was part of that book as well, the Army, Legions and Hordes, and what I know John was as well.
Yeah, he got his little dig in there.
Yeah, he got his bit in there, I got my bit in there, but Dave's been through the entire process, so from that sort of point of view, it's real low pressure. Do you know what I mean? For me, all I need to do is concentrate on the terrain, and I know Dave's got that side sorted. So we decided we had a chat. We had a chat last year when we met up at Salute, and it was like, let's do it. Let's plan it for a year. It's been in the planning for a year, but it's suddenly got very real, very real.
All projects have that moment where I actually have to do stuff.
Yes, I'm actually here. I've got to do it. I mean, there's no challenge in doing it because it's terrain and it's what I love and it's what I know, but it's the reality of I'm doing a book.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing that you have in spades is you've got a lot of experience with doing the Terrain Tutor channel. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and it's probably going to seem silly, but for anyone who does not know you, who is sitting here going, "Who is this man sitting talking on my BC4 video?" What is it you do on the Terrain Tutor channel?
Right. Okay. Well, I'm basically a passionate community member. I've never worked for any companies or anything like that. I'm literally one of the community who's got thrown forward. And my passion has always been terrain. I'm a gamer. I've been playing 40k. Well, I started with fantasy when I was 15. But my passion for terrain started probably when I was about 3 or 4.
Oh, right.
Yeah. My mum was a single mum, and she used to have a craft shop in North Wales, in Anglesey. Yeah, and in the craft shop, there was a small selection of the old Jarvis and Woodland Scenics materials for making railway layouts.
Yeah.
And so, being a single mum, every summer, I spent my summers sitting in a craft shop.
Yeah.
And obviously needed something to do. So I had the little plastic army men, and I would make dioramas and play sets for them. And the old boys who did the railway stuff would come in, show me techniques. And so I actually started making terrain for wargaming 10 years before I discovered wargaming existed. And then when I was 15, we moved to England. I came across White Dwarf. I built my first hill before I bought my first Skeleton Army box set. So terrain has always been part of my life. And then probably about 6 years ago, family went through, after the recession, the recession hit us tough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we lost the business that we had at the time. We lost the home, had to move back in with my mum, and I got depression. I got hit really hard. And by the time we got into our own house and we were setting ourselves back up, I was sitting on a sofa rotting, absolutely rotting on anxiety meds and depression meds. And Kez just wanted me to do something. Yeah. And so the Terrain Tutor was created more as a way of me being productive.
Yeah, for you.
And the response was amazing. I mean, not just the response from the community, but putting yourself out there and doing all the tutorials for free, which is my sort of line, everything goes out for free. There's no paywalls or anything like that. Yeah. And then the response I got from the community saying thank you and picking me up actually dealt with my depression and my anxiety far better than the meds did. Yeah. So the Terrain Tutor basically became my rehab. Yeah. And rehab rolled into a job. And, so I started, 5-6 years ago, doing little tutorials on how to make terrain. 5 years later, 500 videos, 114,000 subscribers, Patreon, and here at Beasts of War doing a book. So it's been a hell of a ride. But I just came from the community as nobody. And my passion and just threw me up there, and the community's put me on a pedestal. A lot of the time I don't feel like I deserve to be on it, to be perfectly honest.
You do good work.
I know, but you know what I mean? I don't know, perhaps it's a bit of the depression and that sort of stuff, the lasting, the legacies and the doubt, but it's a hell of a place, it's a hell of a position to be put in by the community. It's on a pedestal for being the community's terrain guy. And I'm not saying I'm the only terrain guy. There's loads of good terrain guys, but having the community put you up there, it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, well, it's something I always say to people is, if you have a passion for this industry or this hobby, and you have something to say, put it out there. Yeah. Because, the community that's out there, there's some incredible people who are just so supportive and will just help you along. And actually, if they see you're doing something and they think they've got maybe something to add to it, constructive criticism in this community is fabulous. Because there's always something someone can add. And they're not just sitting there going, "Oh, you're crap. You've done that wrong." They'll say, "Well, actually, if you had used maybe this technique, that technique." And then that just generates more for you. You can add more.
The comments of my videos are much like that. I'll put out a technique and then a load of people go, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I can guarantee I will learn something new just from the comments of every. I mean, it's a bit frustrating because you put a video out and someone, I should have thought about that, But, you are always learning. And I think above all, this community responds to passion.
Yes.
If you're passionate, it doesn't matter your ability. If you're passionate about it, we'll get behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I seem to have a knack for terrain. I seem to be able to turn a decent piece out, and I can explain it reasonably enough without too many and stuff like that, and whatchamacallits. And people have just pushed me and kept going, and it's been wonderful. And like I say, it's been a hell of a journey that's led to this point now, which is like, right, we need a book.
Yeah. Well, there's the big question for this video then is, what exactly are you hoping to pop into this book? What are you going to be wedging in? Because, you've got all of that content there. So how do you distill that down into a book?
To be truthful, when I approached the book, with the idea that it can't just be a rehash of my old content. Yeah. Now, one of the problems I have when I'm making tutorials is that you'll know yourself how long it takes to do a tutorial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what you get is this situation of, I can show so many techniques, but it's going to take me 2 days to do that.
Yeah.
So since I did, say, the videos I did 3-4 years ago, my personal techniques and my knowledge on those techniques have expanded considerably because I keep using them. But I haven't reached the point where there's enough content to justify redoing a video, or I just don't have the time to revisit the subject.
Yeah.
So the book gives me an opportunity across the board to go along and say, this is what I know right now.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned. So everything in the book will be beyond my videos, perhaps with the exception of the ones that have come out in the last couple of months.
Yes.
But anything older than 6 months, I'll be improving on. So everything I've learned, everything in the comments that people have mentioned and I've gone into, all that's in the book. And the idea is that if people come to my channel, there's 500 tutorials for them there.
It's a lot of content.
That's a lot to catch up on. So a book gives me an opportunity to say, look, here's everything you need, all the essentials across the board, tools, material, theory, design. Then let's look at every common wargaming table we play. Your Greenfield, your Snowfield, your sci-fi, your Gothic ruins. Let's go deep delve into that. Show you all the techniques you need, to produce a table on that side. Now, we might not produce a table, but I only need 1 or 2 pieces to demo the techniques.
Yes.
And once you know the techniques, you can just run with it.
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, so it's very much about bringing knowledge up to date and then providing a book that is essentially a worktop manual. It's supposed to sit on your bench top. I mean, I even turned around to Dave and said, look, can we paint on the pages? And he's like, what? I said, I want to be able to take paint, stick it on a page, and colour match it to my colours. So when they're mixing colours and I say, go for this blue for oceans, they can mix their blue up, they can paint it on the page, let it dry and see if it dries to the same colour. Yeah, but you need a quality paper for that.
I see.
So Dave's been like stumped because I've been like, how much room have I got? And he's like, well, just give me the words. And I'm like, yeah, but in the footers of each page, what I could do is I could put like terrain ideas. So if you're doing a desert table, I can do a list of scattered terrain you could do for a desert table. And we can do that for every footer. So I've been like, how small can the writing be? And Dave's like, just send me the words and we'll fit it in. And so even with the Kickstarter itself, it's all about getting pages. It's about getting me pages so I can fill it because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I want to put into it. I've got huge sheets of bullet points of lists of everything that needs to go in. And then everything that can go in if we get more pages. So it's really about distilling meltdown into a book, which is quite a scary thought if you think about it.
Well, this is something I discussed with Dave recently. We recently did a quick interview with him for his book, and he was actually talking about having to kill his darlings, so actually trimming out certain things. And I'd say that'll be the biggest hit for it's just like, oh, do I want to leave that bit out, but that leads to this, leads to that.
I'll be honest with you, that's my biggest concern over the stretch goals and that sort of stuff and the Kickstarter itself. I know how much room I've got to start off with. I know how much room I could end up with. And I'm very much of the attitude of I'm not going to pad it out to fill those pages. I have what I want to include in those pages if I get those pages.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I was quite keen about the book's laid out in 3 content sections. Now, the first one is theoretical.
Yeah.
So tools, materials, design, theory, storage, design triad, all the principles. After that, we've got all the unique builds, which is all the stuff that I'm building completely new that no one's seen before. So I can showcase literally what I can do right now and what I know right now.
Yeah.
And then what we're doing is off the back of that, obviously with terrain, there's thousands of techniques you can use. So the idea is there's no way I can do new terrain for all of it.
Yes.
So all the core sections and the core information is brand new. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my videos, through my old content, and then create ancillary support pages.
Gotcha.
So if we say like, right, let's talk about doing thatch roofs. We say, okay, we can do thatch roofs. You can do it with teddy bear fur.
Yes.
And then I can demonstrate that, and I can show the nylon dyeing and all that sort of stuff, and the techniques for combing and trimming and that sort of stuff, sealing. But at the side, I can go along and I can go, right, well, you can also do it with clay. You can do it with terry toweling. You can do it with foam. And then I can include a paragraph, with all the key information for that technique. So if someone comes along and goes, I want to do a thatch roof, I want to do a cottage. I've got all that. I haven't got teddy bear for the thatch roof. Ancillary, there's 1 technique, 2 techniques, 3 techniques, 4 techniques. They can look at what they have got. And at the same time, there's a paragraph to give them enough information to say, yeah, I can give that a go. You know, so it's very much about being practical, rather than just padding it out. There's no point listing 100 techniques with a sentence on each. No one's going to be able to use it. Give them the core information, and then if they haven't got that, or if they haven't got that, point them off in directions and give them the core information on that technique.
And that'll act as a very good index for the content that you already have up, because once you're actually referring to those other videos you've already done, you can just say, so here's a bit.ly that you can just punch into your machine right now, and the video's there for you.
Exactly. So, I mean, obviously it'll be an old video, and some of my old videos, they're recording, you know, if we want to stop. I go back and I look, some of them are cringy, but the information's there. The information's there. So the idea that, there's the technique, there's the ancillary. I'm not quite sure on that. I'll go have a look how Mel did it. The information's there. It's all about enabling build. It's all about dropping these barriers to build. So everything is about multiple options. I don't want a situation where you come to the book, you want to build something, and if you can't do something or you don't have anything, you can't build it. So the idea is quite simple. You do the lot. And then we have so many different alternative techniques for so many different of the stages that there's no barrier to build.
Right. And what are you going to have any advice on where people can actually go hunting for materials?
I've got a wonderful Facebook group. It's got about 18,000 members in, all Terrainiacs, and they're my resource. So I've already told them I'm going to be wanting descriptions for all the products for the different countries, where to buy them from. So it doesn't matter what country you're in. Fingers crossed. There's a lot of countries, but generally you should be able to say, right, in my sort of area, I need to be looking for this type of product. And I can get it from these stores.
I'm just thinking if there's going to be one poor little guy down in like Madagascar or something, just going, where the hell do I buy stuff?
It's quite scary. When I look at my analytics of YouTube, I've even got people watching me in China. Now, I don't know how they're getting through the Great Chinese Firewall.
It's probably a VPN or something.
But they're watching me, but I'm watched from every single Antarctica.
Really?
I have viewers in Antarctica. I don't know what gamers or what modelers are in Antarctica, but there's someone in Antarctica who is watching my videos.
See, I guarantee you there's one guy in Antarctica going, well, I can make my terrain out of snow and lay it up outside and it'll never melt.
There'll be one person in Antarctica that goes, Mel, your colours are off on your eyes.
Excuse me.
But literally, I've got Terrainiacs from around the world, and I've already sort of engaged them as my group of sort of researchers, my fact checkers. So when I say, right, I'm doing a section, I'm not going to give the book out completely, but I'll say I'm covering this. What am I missing? And then they go, Mel, you're missing that. You forgot that one. And that's how I can make sure that I'm covering as many techniques, because you'll know what it's like when it's doing a video. You do a video, it goes live. The moment it goes live, you go, I should have mentioned. This is my sort of my safety checks. To make sure that I don't miss something really obvious. So they're there to support me. They're there to give me my different product information at different countries. So it'll be full. The book will be full of useful information. I've told Dave he can have 6 pages. Yeah, that's how many he can have for his admin for, like, you know, the legal stuff and indexes.
Yeah.
And he said, well, the book may go up to 156 pages. I said, yes, and if it does, you can have 6 pages. The rest are mine. Yeah, it's been quite clear. And it's like...
Why do I get the feeling you've got a row of shark's teeth in there for negotiating?
Well, I mean, to be truthful, I said, look, you know, you handle printing the book, but the content is mine.
Right, that's fair enough.
I said, how many pages do you need? He said 6. So he said, when I said, when I expanded, well, you don't need any more pages, do you, Dave? You said you needed 6. So, you know, there's no more legals to cover. Yeah, those pages are mine. Yeah, so, you know, and I have been a bit firm with this because...
Well, you want it to be what you're wanting to be, because you want people to get the experience and the knowledge that you're wanting to get them from it.
It's also, from one side of point of view, you know, I'm not a company. I don't know if I'm going to get a second chance at this. I don't know if there's going to be another book. I mean, in all our talks, me and Dave have talked a lot over the past year. We've only dedicated 10 minutes of casual chat to, should we do another book afterwards? Yeah, I'm very much focused on the idea that this is my book. Now, a lot of people have sort of turned around and said, you want to hold information back for the second book. And I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't know if that book's coming. This is my one chance. So everything I know that I can fit in this book will be going in it.
Yeah, that, and it's kind of a current affairs thing, because whenever you come to do a book, again, if you do, your techniques will have evolved and changed yet again. So even if there's something you've already covered, you can revisit it in that new book and say, so this is what we briefly talked about in the last book. Here's the page reference. You can go and check that out. Let's continue that conversation. Yeah,
we can certainly delve in deeper, but I mean, one of the issues is the more deeper you go, the less people are interested in it. Yeah, so we've got to be careful about that. Now, the current book is designed on the basis of its advanced techniques, all advanced techniques, presented in a basic manner. So there's no basic and advanced. Because I don't believe in that. The simple fact of when it comes to terrain, we're not surgeons.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do first aid, then you've got the skills. It's not a different class system, if you know what I mean. So
it's the only difference, you need to have 3D printers, layers, all this stuff.
Load of rubbish. You know me, PVA, filler, and paint. Let me go. But the fact of the matter is, the difference between basic techniques and advanced techniques is just a bit of knowledge. And a few extra steps.
And a little bit of lateral thinking sometimes.
Sometimes, but at the same time, it's not unachievable for a basic person. So if you present advanced techniques in a basic way, they don't even know they're advanced techniques. They just see it as the introduction. So you get them up to speed a lot quicker. So that's the way I'm approaching this. I don't want this to be a basic book. I don't want people to come along, go through and go, I haven't really learned anything. I want people to be like, I need to read this again. You know what I mean? I want to fill it, but at the same time, I don't want to put people off thinking, oh, this is an advanced book. So pitched at a basic level, but with advanced, knowledge and techniques.
Gotcha. Look, one thing I'm looking forward to seeing from this is whenever you're doing those different project sections in the book, I want to see what sort of, tables people are going to come up with, because once you've given them that rough set of techniques, seeing people actually bring in and just do a full, say, 6
Do you know what?
Table.
It's so rewarding. One of the best things about the Trainiacs group is you see what happens after the videos. So I put a video out, and then 2 weeks later, I'll start to see the Trainiacs there at it, and they're always better. They're always better. And I've got no problem with that. It just amazes me what they come up with. But seeing them take those techniques and just explode with them. I mean, the amount of squirty foam hills I've seen over the past year since I did that video is just phenomenal. And the amount of emails I've had about my wife is angry because this stuff doesn't come off the kitchen counter. And I'm like, I warned you in the video. I had to buy my wife a new kitchen after I first did
it.
Oh yeah. First time I did it, I didn't know it stuck. I thought you'd peel it off afterwards, so I just did them straight on the kitchen tops.
You couldn't just sand it down off?
Well, it was one of those nice finished tops. And it was a fitted kitchen, and so she was like, "You're buying me a new kitchen." And this was back when we had the business, and I had a bit more. And I was like, "All right, I'll buy you a new kitchen." But now I put down greaseproof paper and I do it in my studio. But the amount of emails I had after that saying, "You didn't tell," I was like, "I told you on the video. I told you I had to buy a new kitchen." But I do see that. And so I'm really looking forward to when the book comes out. watching my Terraniacs run with it and see what they come up with, because the stuff they do is always amazing.
Yeah. Well, you see, whenever I'm now in here, we do like the boot camps and stuff, and there's times whenever we just go nuts and build a ton of tables.
Yeah, of course.
One thing I will advise everybody is, when you think it's done, take a moment and find some incidental pieces just to lay in through there.
Yeah.
Just because it makes it look lived in.
Yeah, and most definitely.
That's something I find a lot of gamers that go to like tournaments and stuff forget. You can have your basic terrain laid out on a tournament table, but if you throw in a few incidental bits that are going to do nothing in game, but they look pretty, it makes it look lived in, and it just brings your table to life. It's
called terrain garnish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it serves no purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, other than to make it look pretty.
Yep.
But let's be honest, you go to a posh restaurant, if your plate doesn't come with garnish, it doesn't feel right.
Oh, no,
and the same with the terrain table.
Yeah.
I do the same on the Burma build. I've got scatter pieces, and then I've got just little bases with just a couple of plants on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they serve no purpose. People can move them around on the table.
Yeah.
But you drop them in. Beautiful.
Yeah, for me, it's always things like, little terrain boxes, little lampposts, things like that. They bring it to life.
Yeah, it's about setting the scene. And at the end of the day, wargaming is a visual game. That's why we spend hours collecting. That's why we spend hours and days painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the table is no different.
Yeah.
The table is the canvas that we play our game on. Yeah. So the better the table, the more enriching the game.
Yeah, well, it's your window into the world.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And we suspend disbelief, and we have that moment where we drop down to the table and we look down that alley at our models, and it's like, yeah, I can imagine this. There's a guy on that balcony and he's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And it all enables that. So I think terrain's rather important like that. But there's the other side of terrain, the therapeutic side. Yes. I mean, from my side, like I said at the start, I came from a bad place mental health wise.
Oh yeah.
But creating is well known within the therapeutic arts as being really good for dealing with mental health issues.
Yeah.
So war games terrain, it's actually a form of therapy.
Yeah. Well, there's one shout out I'd like to do. There's actually a charity in the south of England now for ex-military who
the model painters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it gives them a chance to come in, sit down and focus on something other than everything else that's going on in the world around them.
Yeah.
And having projects like that, be it painting, be it terrain, just something that zones you in.
I think that's why, if you notice with this hobby, there's a lot of professional people in this hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that attracts professional people. Not only just the thought process, gaming requires a bit of noggin, you know what I mean, a bit of thinking. But also, when you sit down with whether you're reading, whether you're painting, whether you're building models, that's what you're doing. There is nothing else in the world other than what you're doing, and it's a great switch-off mechanism.
Yeah, you just have that little bubble of what I'm up to.
So, I mean, I love that. I wander into my studio, I shut that door, and the world is gone.
Yeah.
And I am a happy chappy until I open that door again and see what the world is like.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I have the exact same. So I'll get home, and it's something we discussed recently on an XLBS was peak of entertainment. So some of the easiest consumable entertainment that you'll get is like TV, movies, things like that. But with them, you can be distracted very easily.
Yeah.
Whenever you're actually working on a project, it focuses you a lot more than if it's just the noise box in front of you.
It's not just that. I mean, you're not even focused on it when you're doing it. I mean, you're focused on it when you're not doing it. How many times do you wake up in the morning and go, ooh?
Yeah.
Yeah, or you're at work and you go, ooh. I mean, it's even worse for me because I'm at work and I can do something about it. Very much for the same for you as well.
No, I have the exact same, because with us having opened the visitor centre now, I'll be having a conversation with someone and all of a sudden it's just light bulb in the back of my head. Could I throw that into an army list?
Yeah, most definitely. And I get the same with terrain. I see a comment on one of my videos. It's I've got that. I'm going to have a play. But that's the joy of this hobby. You know what I mean? And I think that's why it's one of these hobbies that you get sucked in and you never get out.
Oh, no, never. Now, have you ever done anything where you've actually done, the upgraded board game board for terrain?
Yeah. My wife is bullying me into making 3D costs and own tiles. Yeah, but pretty much any game that comes along, my daughter will find a random game and she'll be like, can you put some mountains on this? They've got this game they picked up from the 60s called Yeti.
Right.
And it's about moving around a board with a Yeti chasing you.
Oh,
and
cool.
The control of the Yeti goes depending on the dice rolls.
Yeah.
So basically, my son and my daughter spend like a good hour trying to stomp on each other. But it's set in snow. So they've slowly been like bugging me to like, right, can we put some mountains and some snowdrifts? Yeah. And it's like, it's a project for the summer for us.
Yeah. Well, you see, I was thinking more along the lines of actually just take something like, say, Luxor, and actually redo the full board as like the deluxe Luxor board that you could then play through and have on your shelf.
There's a few like that, and there was one guy on the Trainiacs group. He did Settlers of Catan.
Oh, nice.
And he did the 3D tiles.
Oh, lovely.
And he did them 3D for all of them. So it was like a big Mighty Empire set.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I had flashbacks to my youth. You know, we used to really play Mighty Empires as a campaign system. We had 2 sets, and we played a campaign over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we actually played every single battle out. Yeah. We had Man of War for the naval battles. We had the Citadel Castle for the sieges and the old siege book. I lost my A levels due to that. Due to that campaign, to be truthful.
Yeah, well, speaking of campaigns, we have went way off topic.
We have.
Sorry, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that.
Sorry.
We actually have a mock-up of your Kickstarter here. That
we do, and it is in rough draft. We are finishing this off.
Yeah, so anything we see here is subject to change, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, just caveats in there. So let's start having a look through. So I'm guessing this is your workshop, yeah?
Yeah, that's my little studio up in Spodeworks in Stoke. I mean, it's a tiny studio. It's only 10 foot by 16 foot. Everyone thinks it's bigger. But it's big enough for me to do what I do. And the benefit is I'm all in one place and I'm packed in and I've got everything so I can crack on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a shot that's well used to people now.
Yeah. All right, so let's start rolling down through. So we've got rough cover for the book, I'm guessing?
Yeah, this is a rough cover. Now, everything that we're doing is going to be new builds. So the front cover is mocked up from old images. Yeah, the front cover will be the new images, the new builds and all that sort of stuff. But that's generally what the book's looking like.
And then in through here, is this you announcing it?
It will be announcing. We haven't finished filming that video, so that's a placeholder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And on down through. So this is some of the different stuff you're going to be looking at in the book, yeah?
Yeah, that's just a bare scratch of what we're going to be looking at. But essentially what we're doing is we're covering the core theory, the materials, the tools, all the general, all the general areas that need covering, you know, that are common and essential to wargaming.
Yeah, and then we've got your different pledge levels here, so you can jump in. Are you doing a pledge manager afterwards? For
we've got backer kit on board, so and it'll be PayPal version. So if you want to jump on board for the pledge levels and that sort of stuff, we've essentially mirrored Dave's campaign because it worked for him. Yeah. So the idea of a PDF version, a physical book version, and then stepping up with combinations between the two.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing a share the love actual pledge, because then if I've got it and I've got a mate that I work on tables together with, I can go, here, happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can club in together and both get a copy of the book at a discounted price, of course.
Yeah. And then moving on through, so your main funding goal is 40k.
Yeah, but because it's me and Dave, Sorry, we were debating watchfully. It was like, should we do 45? I'm like, no, do 40k. Yeah, we've got to do 40k. Yeah, but because it's me and Dave, it's slightly higher than his book.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to make sure that we can fund the book. Yeah. And fund the print run and the distribution. And we looked at it and it was like, right, that's the level that we can make the book happen for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was we didn't want any problems. So we've got Brexit coming along. We're not sure how that's going to affect, and no one knows how that's going to, if it even happens.
It's all went a bit Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it has. And without going in too deep, we've factored, a fudge factor in for that to make sure everyone gets the book. And
it's good that you're doing that, because then you have that buffer zone.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think even in the risks, we've sort of factored in, look, Brexit, we've got a buffer zone for that. So even worst case scenario, and I think World Trade Organization and all that sort of stuff, we can deliver this book.
Yeah.
Now, all the stretch goals, and we're still planning them out, but all the stretch goals, books are made essentially in sheaths, which is a combination of 16 pages. And so to expand a book, they expand in a half sheath or a sheath, so 8 or 16 pages.
Yeah.
So all our stretch goals are geared about giving me more pages.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a big list of what I want to put on those pages, and they're all prioritized, so it will always be the best book I can make depending on how far we go.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to fill it without padding it out. Maximum I've got is 150 pages and 6 for Dave. Yeah. And I planned out 150 pages. Yeah. So if I get it, I know exactly where I'm putting in all of it.
Yeah.
If
I like that idea, because even if it goes beyond your final big, huge stretch goal, people are knowing they're getting a premium product.
Exactly. What we wanted to do was we looked at add-ons and could we take the stretch goals, and it was like, no. What we want to do is produce a terrain book.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with funding a terrain book, and we'll finish with funding the best terrain book we can print at the time. And we capped it at 156 pages because Dave was explaining to me that after you go across that, international shipping from the printers gets silly because it drops into a different weight category when you add them all together.
Clever.
Yeah, so it was the same with his book. It would have significantly upped the cost of production. I mean, the shipping is actually more than the book in some cases, you know, when you go up.
Yeah, I suppose you're getting it printed. What is it, in China?
No, in Lithuania.
Ah, I see.
So Dave's already got the best thing about Dave already going through the process is he's already made the mistakes and built the relationships.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we don't have any worries on that. So we're going with exactly the same printers, exactly the same distributors and shippers that Dave's used for his book. So we know no problems.
Yeah.
He knows them by name. You know what I mean? He's already paid money to them for his book. So there's a working relationship, and that's always better than starting with a new one and trying to figure out how do we do this. And also the little scary things you don't figure out in projects. Yeah. He's already made those mistakes.
Yeah.
We've already factored them into this campaign, so they're not a problem.
Yeah. Well, Mel, it sounds like it's going to be an absolute fabulous one. Can you tell us when it's going to be running? Just
right. It launches on the 15th of March. Okay. And it's running, I think, for 38 days. Now we've chosen a slightly extended campaign for one specific reason. It starts on the 15th of March, and Dave's over for Salute.
Yes.
Yeah. He's spending a week in Nottingham, seeing the guys over there. Then at the weekend when it finishes on the Sunday, we've actually planned for the campaign to finish when I do my Sunday nighter show. So me and Dave will be at my house streaming live when the campaign finishes. So it's slightly longer than normal, but it was the only way we could sort of work it so that we're here at the end, you know, one big final. So we're having a launch party, and we're having a close party. And hopefully we're celebrating. Well, I'm sure we'll be celebrating. It's just how many stretch goals we hit and how big of a book. And then the next day I'll be crying when I realise I've got to write it. But in all seriousness, what I've actually done is over the past couple of months, I've done a lot of content and a lot of work behind the scenes so that when it comes to writing it, my YouTube stuff is 90% already there. So I don't have to worry about that. So I've got the time. And so it's like, I know what I've got to do. I've got the time. We can do it. And I've sort of put in everything in place to make sure we can do it. And there's no...
You're not robbing Peter.
Exactly. I'm not saying I can't write this because I need to do this Patreon content because that's how I make my living, you know, day to day. And so all that's been factored in. With it being my one chance, every box has been ticked that we can think of.
All right. Well, here's a question for you. So if anyone's actually wanting to meet up with you during the actual campaign, are there any shows or anything people...
I'm traveling. Dave has got me traveling.
Oh, he's got you. Yeah.
I am across at Adepticon this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm actually flying in a couple of days early. I'm spending the week over in Chicago. So I'll be there at the start of the convention. I'll be there at the end of the convention. And I will be around the convention all the time. So anyone can grab me who wants to grab me. On top of that, we've got Salute, and you don't miss Salute, do you?
Of course, you don't miss Salute.
No, not as the UK.
It's the one in your backyard.
Exactly. So I'll be at Salute as well, and then it's a week after that campaign. There's no other events in between that I can actually go to.
Right.
So Adepticon and Salute, I'll be there. You can grab me. Other than that, every Sunday night on my live show. You know, and one of the good things about this is we're vlogging. The process of the book. A bit like I was recording here earlier with you guys, you know, this process. And so every week, the backers will get an update on a Sunday in the morning. And then if they've got any questions, I'm live on Sunday evening where they can go, Mel, how are you doing? Have you thought about this? How's are you on time? You know, so feedback wise with regards to the project, it's not just constant updates. It's the ability every week to actually physically get hold of me and ask me live, are you on course? Are there any problems? And also it gives me a chance to go, guys, I'm a little bit behind with this one. I'm going to hammer it next week. We'll get caught up. But everyone knows where we stand. So a lot of communication in this campaign. Not just during the campaign, but through the actual writing as well. Because the vlog series will continue after the campaign. So everyone will know where I am, what's been done, every step.
That's really, really impressive. All right, well, Mel, it's been a pleasure having you in. I am looking forward to seeing what happens with your Terrain Essentials book.
It's going to be a ride, buddy.
All right, well, everybody, tell you what, get your comments in below. Are you excited for this one? Is there any particular type of terrain that you think Mel should be maybe adding into this book?
Anything you want in the book, throw it down. The chances are I've already thought about it, or my Terrainiacs have, but if you haven't, we'll get it in.
All right, we'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
The fact that he's decided to build a manual of how to do advanced techniques for everyone. But he's not retreading his back catalogue. So the 500 odd videos that he has on the Train Tutor YouTube channel are all still there and all can still be used. But this book shows some of those things brought up to date.
Yeah.
And gives just this fantastic foundation for anybody who's looking to sort of start building their own table, building their own train, and making sort of more bespoke pieces, tailoring their tables to what they want to play. For example, trains.
Yes.
So,
and it's cool because videos and stuff are great.
Yeah.
To see a technique and to see how it works and go, oh, right.
Yeah.
I see how that works, rather than trying to describe it. But if you do this combo where you could watch a video and then reference the book,
I
it's
think
much easier to reference a book than it is to sit and go, where in this video was this particular bit?
Pause there, wait, okay, do this bit now. Yeah, and that being able to use that and use things like his the Facebook page, the group of the train tutors, Trainiacs, so that you can just feed in. So it's more like a web of terrain making.
Yeah.
And you can go, right, I've got the book. Oh, this is a bit good. Let's have a look at the video. The video might be 6 years old now, and stuff that's in the book is more current than stuff that's in the video because he's learned new techniques, but the stuff that's in the videos are still very good at demonstrating what he means when he's doing things. Then you can go and jump into the face page and go making this, guys. Have you any examples? And using that group as well, which is worldwide, to be able to get the names for various things as well is handy, because I know in the past people have said spackle.
Yes.
And you're going, what is spackle?
For the different materials.
Yeah.
And like super glue is CA glue.
Yeah, so all of this will be pulled into the book so that you can pick this up regardless of where you are in the world, and you can buy it at various levels. So even if you just pick up the PDF, it doesn't matter if you're in Kazakhstan or Timbuktu or in Dudley, and you'll know what the actual bits and pieces are.
And working in partnership with Dave Taylor to bring it into existence is a good idea, because we've just seen, we've seen Dave's book and it was quality.
Yeah, and the fact that Dave's done the heavy lifting insofar as everything that they're doing with this is all being done exactly the same way. So it's the same printer, the same distributor, the same packers.
That's really good.
So Dave's already gone through the heartbreak and hard times of having to go to 15 different print companies and source the right paper. And yeah, as Mel says himself in the interview, all the weight's off my mind. I just have to worry about writing the book, and it's going to be a hell of a big book to read as well. So.
Which is sweet. Right, it is on Kickstarter at the minute.
On Kickstarter at the moment.
So it's just went on the last couple of days.
Yeah, it went on Friday, and it's got 36 days left to run, I want to say. It's due to finish. Dave's across from the States for Salute, and then Mel always has his Sunday night live stream. So that Sunday, before Dave flies back to the States, him and Mel are going to be there for the live stream and to watch the Kickstarter hopefully successfully
take
finish.
over and then blow their wee celebration
and then blow their little party streamers. Yeah,
that's cool.
So
I like that. Right, speaking of Kickstarters, if that hasn't excited you enough, Ben's going to tell us about one that he's very excited about. Ben, you're very excited about a Kickstarter, aren't you, mate?
Oh, yeah, and it's about trucks. No, it's not about trucks.
It's about trains.
This is the guys at Critical Role. So you'll know them as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, live-streamed D&D games, or actual plays, as they're called, on Twitch at the moment, and on YouTube and stuff like that. But because of their phenomenal success, they've been allowed to go out and do a lot more stuff. So this new project, which has been up for about a week, maybe 2 weeks right now, is looking to fund not just a comic book or something like that, but an entire animated series, now anyway, based on their characters from Campaign 1 and the crew of Vox Machina.
So just before you go any further, right, so I can see a group of people here.
Yes.
That's the team.
That's the team, yes.
Am I right in thinking this team are voice artists or something like that?
So all of them are voice actors who come together every week to do a regular game of D&D. So they've been famous in games like Overwatch and Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft and all those kind of things. So you will know their voices.
So they should be pretty good at it then, huh?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And one of the great things about this is that they were looking originally to just do an animated short. So it was going to be about 30 minutes or something like that. And then their Kickstarter exploded. They are currently at what was that? Sorry?
I'm saying, did it what?
It did. Yeah,
$5.5 million.
Is that
points we're looking at? Scroll back up.
$7 million And yeah, they are absolutely blown away with what they've been able to achieve here. And one of the interesting things about this is they went to a lot of companies already. So they went to a lot of Hollywood studios and that kind of thing, and were like, hey, we want to try to put together this thing. It's based on our D&D game that we play, etc., etc. And they were like, yeah, maybe, whatever. And then obviously now we've seen this happen, and I'm sure they're going to get a lot of interest going forward. The actual Kickstarter itself and all the funding for it, there are some physical rewards at some of the higher tiers, but a lot of the focus towards this is for actually just making sure that the series comes to life. So there's no actual like DVD release or anything like that at the moment. What we're potentially going to be seeing is them getting this to the stage where they can sort of show it off to all their Kickstarter backers, and then it'll maybe appear on something like Netflix or Amazon or something in the future, which is pretty cool. As I say, they were focusing on doing just a short animation to begin with, and that's going to be the start of the series, which will be based around them when they were around level 7. So this is before they actually went and streamed this game on Twitch for everybody else through Geek and Sundry and stuff. And also they're going to be doing one of the arcs of the story that is possibly the coolest of them all, and it's the Briarwood arc. So if anyone who knows that, pretty awesome indeed, but it's one that involves vampires, which is very, very cool, and also a big, huge chunk of backstory for one of the characters. One of the interesting things about this as well is that the campaign itself, for campaign 1, and I know I'm going on about this a bit more, but the campaign itself was lasted for 115 episodes. And I think it was 373 hours of gameplay in total, and that's a lot to get through. And
that's what this animated series is based on.
That's what all this is based on.
So whatever roots and stuff they followed in that, that's what this is going to portray.
Yeah, so
the battles and stuff they got into, this is going to bring it to the small screen for us.
Yeah, it's going to be done in a method that makes it a lot more digestible for a lot of people. And as I say, if this gets a lot of success, which as you can see it seems to have done, hopefully they get to expand this to a much bigger degree and they get to do a lot more stuff with it. They've already done a comic book series as well with Dark Horse. They're doing a second comic book series with them as well. I've read them. They're really, really good. But yeah, I love the guys at Critical Role. They're the reason that I got back into Dungeons and Dragons. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that another fantasy series is going to get brought to the table, brought to the screen for a lot of people to play around with and enjoy themselves. So yeah.
I watched the trailer. It looks exciting, but I miss the fact that there's no dungeon master though.
Yeah,
well, the dungeon master. Now, if this had the dungeon master in it, that'd be epic.
That. I really just want it sort of to peter out now and stop now, because if it stops now, they'll have got their Briarwood arc started. Yeah. They'll have got their continuation of 2 more episodes of Briarwood arc on a one shot, but they will have fallen short of actually completing it. just like the proper Dungeons and Dragons TV series that didn't have a final episode. It just stopped. Oh, that would be amazing.
They should put in a funding goal though to buy the rights to Dungeon Master. Buy the rights to Dungeon Master.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be fantastic to see what they do with this. As I say, I'm already won over. I'm a lot of other people are as well. The people behind the community for this sort of role-playing game that they play are some of the best and most loving community that's out there. They do amazing artwork. They do really nice stuff for the community and sort of like building up stories and all kinds of things like that. So it was no surprise that they were going to get funded. And as I say, they're busting records like nobody's business. They've still got, I think it's just over a month left on the campaign, because they went for an initial 45-day campaign to begin with. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start to hit something like the 10 million mark later on.
Do you know what they're doing right now, Ben?
So,
they're all sitting in a room going, we need some more flipping stretch goals.
All right, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Put Dungeon Master on the stretch goals. When you get to like 20 million, Dungeon Master, buy the rights.
Make Lloyd happy, yeah.
Make everybody happy. Everybody needs that. That in uni.
Yeah, get Uni in it.
Just everybody loved Uni, just muttering away in the corner. Wasn't the most irritating character on the show or anything.
No, and that wee dude with the club who always ran around half naked.
Little Bobby.
He never got cold.
No, he didn't. Yeah. And at no point did his sister go, do you want to borrow my cloak? Bobby, you're going to get chilblains.
That's a good point.
Some sister she was.
Huh? Keeping all the clothes to herself. Disgraceful.
Outrageous.
Right, moving on, Ben. There's another Kickstarter you're quite excited about.
Yeah, so another one of these is by the guys at Flytrap Factory, from the guys over in New Zealand. And this is for In the Court of the Goblin King. And this is a campaign that has just over a week left on it so far. And it's for a range of miniatures inspired by Scandinavian Nordic folklore. They've created a whole bunch of amazing miniatures that are so full of character. And I know I say that quite a lot, but these ones really are. They're all looking absolutely fantastic. They started off with a diorama that was all based around the idea of just the Goblin King himself and some of his servants. But as they've sort of developed this Kickstarter and unlocked more stretch goals as they've gone forward, they've expanded this to include a lot more Goblin warriors. They've got some really fascinating looking knights in there as well, which are based on sort of strange, weird folklore. They've got some massive trolls and stuff that they're working to in terms of stretch goals right now. They've developed a set of witches, some assassins, a kobold emissary, and all kinds of things like that. For anyone who likes the style of these miniatures, it's very much in sort of like keeping with the sort of Bonner style, the Paul Bonner style of art, which I think is really, really good. Yeah. And I think it's going to be drawing a lot of people in. A lot of people who like their Lord of the Rings and their Middle Earth, and more specifically their sort of like the book-based idea of a lot of the characters in that and a lot of the monsters. This kind of takes you in that direction as well, so it draws on that sort of Nordic mythology there, which I think is really cool. And yeah, as I say, some absolutely fantastic looking miniatures, full of character, full of detail, and yeah, hopefully a lot of people are going to be picking these up and using them, not necessarily just as hobby projects, but also in skirmish games as well, because there's a lot of them out there right now.
Age of Magic,
Warfare 1, that kind of thing. Thud and Blunder as well. So yeah,
there's a serious amount of goblin splaining going on here.
There is a little bit.
Like this guy's got attitude.
Gob spreading, yeah.
Spreading. This guy's got attitude.
And this was the thing, whenever I seen the Court of the Goblin King and I seen that pose, I immediately thought of one man. The god, not at all a Primarch himself from the old Warhammer world.
Right.
Sigmar. Because this was the inside front cover for, I think, 6th edition fantasy.
Oh, hello.
Now, if we have a look at Sigmar here, who's got his tiny little goblin jester at the end of a chain with a rat on a stick. And then we have a look back at the Court of the Goblin King. There's a lot going on there. I like to think that they've looked at that and went, you know what, Sigmar, you may have decided that you were going to have one of us as a jester, but we're just going to use your whole pose. I'm just going to go full goblin on you.
Goblin. Yeah. They gobbled everything they could get.
Everything they could, yeah.
Yeah.
Gobbled away.
So, gents, excited about the goblins?
I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of any of that more traditional style of sculpting. I think an awful lot of CAD design stuff can start to look very soulless after a while. It all just looks too mass manufactured, too bland. Whereas the traditional green sculpts, I think, just always have a sort of unique, even little flaws in the sculpt just make them look more realistic.
How many miniatures are they currently unlocked? Are they unlocking more miniatures, more sculpts? What's the crack there? Because you're looking at, and you did say a warband, and I was sitting thinking, ooh, that is cool, but how many miniatures have they unlocked? Because I would be sitting thinking, if they don't unlock enough miniatures for a full warband, are you going to take doubles of these? Or is there another range out there that would sit very well with these? And if you know it, post it in the comments.
I think there's a range, and I believe it's by Nightmare models or Nightmare miniatures. Maybe someone will correct me in the comments, but they are very similar to these in style. They have that kind of old hammery look to them, which I think these ones do as well. So you could kind of bring those together to sort of develop it a little bit more. But I think there's about a handful of goblins included in this. You've obviously got the Goblin King, and they are working towards, as I say, like the big trolls and the giants and stuff as well. So if you want to go sort of get to that stage, get involved with this, start funding it, and maybe you get your hands on some of those as well, which are pretty cool. So
there's about 14 individual goblin sculpts at the moment, and then 3 emissaries, nobody wants lizard emissaries.
Yeah,
kobolds are dog-faced dicks. So yeah.
So if you were going to skirmish it, you need about twice as many. Yeah, so you need to find a range to mix in with it
to bring it up to speed. Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a model range that just looks like epic, but you can't fit anything with it.
Yeah, it's just such a unique style.
I was looking at doing, maybe there's more of it now. I was looking at doing the dwarves from Frostgrave.
All right, the Oathmark ones.
The Oathmark plastics. Yeah.
Yes, but they look almost a bit like the gnomes.
They look like traditional German dwarves. They've got the very sort of German pointed hats and helmets.
You'll be interested to know on that front.
Yeah,
I was going to say, if you're interested in looking at those and thinking about the fact that there's not potentially other stuff that fits with them, they are now doing a heavy infantry set of dwarves as well, which was teased this week. So
there's my Hearth Guard.
So they are developing and building on this to create a larger set of plastics, which is pretty cool. So.
Whereas I've been looking at Conqueror models who've done
Conqueror models
who've done a Viking/Saxon bunch of dwarves, so they've all got that armor, so they look like they just stepped off a Saga table, except they're dwarves. They've got crossbows, bows, great weapons, spears.
All right, I might have to pivot on this. This might sway me. Those two things are exciting.
They are.
Yeah, so the goblins are cool, right? We have one last Kickstarter to talk about here.
Yeah.
Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth 28mm metal miniatures. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is it's a set of 28mm metal miniatures that Tercio Miniatures are working on bringing to the tabletop. They're already funded, so you've got good stuff there. They've designing a whole bunch of different things. They've got mounted hussars, they've got panzerni, they've got hajuks, they've got allied troops. They're working on additional options, including lots of scout models for you to include in an army, a friar and a donkey cart if you want to get a little bit of the diorama vignette thing going on, and also a named characters as well called Hetman Stefan. And then he has a name that I'm not going to pronounce because I will offend a lot of Polish people. And these are looking very, very stylish, very, very cool indeed. I won't pretend that I know anything about the period, other than that By Fire and Sword is probably also the same period, right? But apart from that, these looking very, very cool. So
it's funny you should say that offend the Polish people thing. Just before we look further through this, I was watching The Big Lebowski with my other half at the weekend. And she's like, that's not how you say that. They're butchering that. It's Lebowski or something like that. And this went on through the entire movie. This is like another movie ruined. Thank you very much.
It's like watching anything based in Ireland with my brother. That's not how you pronounce sleeve Donard. It's Schlee Donard. Going, what? I don't think they care. I don't care. Why are you still talking, McCabe?
So I'm going to add it to my list of ruined movies. Thank you very much. Aliens has been ruined. That's just a crazy cat lady. All right, okay. Predator has been ruined. That's terrible. That's just terrible acting. Terrible plot line. But you can't stop saying the lines, can you? This has been ruined now. Oh, what's he get? Just, it's wrong. He's saying it wrong. Even the guy that's called the other name, they don't even know how to say their own name. Ruined. But surprisingly, Coneheads was a success.
Consume mass quantities.
Yes. No. Marital partner. No. That was a success because I was like, and the idea to put in my head is one of the guys, Ryan was doing up a picture of Justin.
Oh yeah.
And he had airbrushed Justin's head up into a big cone.
Nice.
Right? And I walked up behind him and went, oh man, Justin the conehead. And he went, what? What's a conehead? I was like, you haven't seen coneheads.
There's a lot of that about these days. I'm having to educate Lena. So Aurora and Bag gets forced to watch a film with me every sort of 2 weeks because I make like a little quote about Tron. He's going, I have no idea what that is. Going, Tron? No. What about Biggles? Have you seen Biggles? No, not seen Biggles with me on that. So I've just been compiling a list and then we'll be watching. I'll be like, I'll say something. I was like, I have no idea what that is. That's going on the list as well. Then the list is going to get longer and longer and longer. We're never going to get to the end of this list. People need to be educated.
I've already done Tron and the follow-up.
Tron Legacy, yeah. We did Tron Legacy week before last.
But I made sure I'm doing the right way around.
Oh, yeah.
It is a little bit hard to watch the original Tron because it's just a bit weird looking.
Yeah.
But I still love it. But it's
awesome.
a bit weird looking. Yeah. But I love torturing my other half with 80s movies and 70s movies and stuff like that. It's like, but Coneheads was 93, so I think that's probably why it was a success. I think. But it's like I'll sit down to watch another movie. I'll something come on Netflix and another 80s movie, is it, Lloyd? Yeah. I've turned into like, do you know the way your parents always watched movies from their generation?
Yes.
I've turned into that. I've started just watching movies from my generation.
Just a lot of, all the sort of John Wayne stuff, all that.
Yeah.
An awful lot of westerns from the 50s.
Except what we've got is
60s.
Is like these 80s movies, which she hates all the actors. Like Spies Like Us. She hated that.
Not a fan of Dan and Chevy.
No, she hates them. And she hates them.
Oh, Caddyshack should be on your list then.
What is it? Oh.
Have you seen Caddyshack, Lena? That could be on the list.
That could be on the list.
Don't mind us.
I got a torture with the man with two brains this weekend.
Oh, that's
Steve
fantastic.
Martin. She hates Steve Martin.
How else would you pronounce Melmahay?
What were we talking about, Ben? Oh yeah, Polish.
We're talking about the wonderful Polish and Lithuanian Commonwealth forces that you wanted to put into the show.
Yes, we did. And they are awesome in every way, shape and form. The nice thing about this is, for me personally, if you were an old Warhammer Fantasy player,
this
is what they based the Kislev and Kislevite armies off.
Yeah.
So there are people out there who had those and who can't get any more, because if you go to Fleabay and try and find second-hand ones, it costs like £20 for a single figure, because people go, you can't get them anymore and I'm going to charge you all the money for them. It's appalling. So if people had seen them and went, oh, that would make a great army, they can now get them. You can get in here and you can pick these up if you want to play old Warhammer or Kings of War as for Kingdoms of Men, or if you want to get into your historics, the Polish-Lithuanian Empire, or Commonwealth it actually was, ran from sort of the mid 1500s to late 1700s.
Yeah, until pretty much where it's like they sort of broke up and started to disappear.
Yeah, there was a few civil wars towards the end, and then they got sort of ruffle stomped. But during that period, they did go toe-to-toe with Russia, with Sweden, when Gustavus Adolphus was doing his whole line of the North thing and conquering everything. He ran through Saxony, he ran through the Danes, and then met the Polish winged hussars and got slapped brutally down. So you've got those various historic wars that you can play.
They're cool, right? Yeah. Because they have their wings and stuff, and the wings were there to make loads of noise to make them extra scary. But what I like about this is the mix between, you've got swords, spears, swords, guns. They have that. If you want to take them into a fantasy realm, they tick all the boxes. Yeah, I mean,
Terracos, or however that's pronounced, they have done a Spanish range, which came out. It was a Kickstarter, but it was sort of fulfilled over the past couple of months, and every time I've seen anybody talking about them, what they've received has been exactly like they put in the Kickstarter. And sometimes with companies where it is not a household name, people are a bit ambivalent, or even sometimes worried that they're going to be throwing their money down a bottomless pit and will not get quality models at the end of it, whereas they've successfully run a Kickstarter already, and everybody who's received the stuff from it, we're singing their praises. So I'm really excited to see what they do. And like Ben was saying, some of the add-ons, having the little friar on the
if we go on further on down, the friar will pop up after we go past
the Spanish,
which are cool too.
Well, yeah, if you want allies.
What I like about it is it has it's got the features and stuff. It looks similar to Blood and Plunder.
Yeah. In the way this so people don't get motion sickness.
It looks a bit like Blood and Plunder in the proportions and stuff of the hats and their gun belts and things. Here he is himself.
So far we've got Friar on Donkey, the Donkey Cart Scout has been unlocked, and that's Hetman Stefan. Come on.
No.
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 I told you.
Not even going to try.
No. I think the next thing up is... I want to say it was another character. They're throwing in extra packs. Heart's Content.
Add-ons. Here we go.
So, but like ammo carriers.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Look. Here's the thing. It's turned into Justin there for a second. They've got the Commonwealth Order card. So there is a game system as well. But it's the game system only in Spanish, because I had a quick look at their website.
I think so, at the moment.
I got the hunch, I got the suspicion that they have a game system, but only in Spanish.
Yeah, because this is being done with... something unpronounceable in Spanish. It's like Release the Kraken game store, but in Spanish. And they seem to be doing this in partnership with that game store. So it may just be that this is a sort of a pet project where occasionally people go, if I could do one thing, it would be, and in this case, it would be a Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth army in 28mm. So,
plenty of other game systems that we take it into. It's a little bit, I'm awfully tempted by it. I am awfully tempted by it, because I have been doing, as I've been working on my Saga stuff, I've been getting more and more Slavic as I've gone across.
We had noticed.
Recently, I would ordered stuff in from
Warbanner.
From Warbanner. You placed the order. We do a buddy system. And what did I order? It was Byzantine stuff.
Yeah, it was some Busies and then some Viking Bondi looking. No. Oh, yeah.
But the Byzantine stuff, I was like, I'm specifically going to paint these up to look a bit more Slavic.
Yeah.
Like Slavic warriors and stuff. So it does tempt me, although I'm back in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Shifting towards 1250, sort of 1290 sort of period.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
This is like 1500.
1500, or possibly with the black powder weapons, probably 16th to 17th.
That's
it
is
you're
interesting.
pushing yourself on a fair bit there.
Can you imagine being a winged hussar, flying along hussar with your wings and someone shooting at you with cannons?
Yeah.
Awesome.
They did.
Scary.
They did, and generally, if the cannons weren't particularly well aimed, then they had to answer for that to the winged hussars. We're not people to back away from a fight.
Yeah, so, but they're so ornate. If you scroll back,
if I find one of the painted ones,
like metal plates. The painted ones right at the top. They've even got like leopard skins and stuff like that. These boys had some pizzazz when they went into battle.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the whole look of that period when they started bringing uniformity in. Yeah, you really did get that whole grand affair for the war, and there was almost a psychological aspect, because if you heard stories about Polish with lances and then you see them coming, there's no way you're going, oh, I might be able to stand here with my mates and stop that. It could be any unit at all. No, you knew what was coming straight at you with lance leveled. There was only one thing you were going to do there, which was buckle and run, or die horribly. So,
but they look fabulous.
Oh yeah, killing you and looking fabulous while
colours and everything. It looks fabulous. Like, so if you're not going to do it historical wise, you take that, maybe apply a different colour scheme if you want to differentiate it, so you're not looking at it going, it's Polish-Lithuanians.
Yeah.
If you do that in a different colour, like greens, blues and stuff, it would look flipping amazing.
They used to do the Kislevite army in a very light powder blue with white, which is, obviously the other end of the spectrum from the red and white there. And they look fantastic. And if somebody went, do you want to paint that fantasy army powder blue? I would go, no, I don't. But then whenever you've seen them painted up, you're going, I really do. All the jackets. It looks great.
Done a bit, right? So see these banners and stuff.
Yes.
And I was looking and I was thinking, I was kind of concerned if they're going to come cast like that. Do you think they'll be cast like that?
I think they will be. Because they're metal.
Yeah.
And they're CAD designing, but it's possible that the pennants might not be cast on, that might just be to show you, but I don't see any reason why they can't be. The rest of the model's metal. It's going to be a white metal, so it's sort of a 10 alloy. There'll be enough strength in that you're not going to have to worry about bending.
You don't think it'll just be bendy all over the place then?
No. And if it is, you can straighten it out. It's metal.
Yeah. If it is a concern, you just nip them off, put brass rods in
Put brass rods through,
and then paper version of the banners.
Paper with I was showing you that Chinese brush paper technique for the flag. That would be ideal for this, or very thick foil, like from the top of a wine bottle. So
because I know
wine.
Anytime I get metal minis in, I immediately dump I don't dump them, but I set the spears and stuff to the side because I find them far too bendy. Yeah. And I either replace them. Currently, I'm replacing them with plastic ones because I just happen to have a lot of plastic spears
from somewhere.
From Fireforge
Could
Games.
Be anywhere.
A big lump of them. So I'm basically going through when I get my stuff in from Warbanner.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come with spears. They come with like axes and stuff, but you can then change it out. So I drill them out and I put in the plastic stuff. Hence why I'm talking about this.
Whereas I drill them all out and replace them with brass immediately, so I can do myself as much damage as humanly possible.
See, I use the plastics, so it still looks similar in size to the other plastics I already have. Although I have started sanding them down a wee bit so they get a wee bit thinner.
Yeah,
that's terribly anal of me to sand my spears just to be a little bit thinner.
If you put them into like a Dremel and then got like sandpaper and wrapped it around and then span it.
I never thought of putting them in the Dremel.
So it spins.
I've been using the Dremel on them.
No, you spin the spear and then sandpaper on the outside.
It's only going to work though if you've got like a big long spear because you'll end up with a fat ass.
That is true.
Although you could maybe then flip it the other way. So if you stick the head into the hole and spin it really hard, to sand its ass.
Yeah, and then just run the sandpaper.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, I'm excited about this too.
That'd be handy for Age of Gunpowder Saga.
That would be handy for Age of Gunpowder Saga. There's a cannon. I don't think we've seen. Did we look at the cannon?
The cannon was there.
Let's just have a quick look. I would be interested to see if anybody has any miniatures from these guys. Post some pictures below because not just of the miniatures on themselves, by themselves, but can you put them with some other ranges below? Because I'd be interested to see, against a Blood and Plunder miniature, against, a Grip and Beast miniature. Where are these in the
scales? Yeah.
Scale. It's cool. Right, lads. Kickstarters. Who's going to pick what's Kickstarters? Are we going to pick Kickstarter winners this week?
I mean, You already know mine.
Well, yeah, you're going to go for that terrible game, aren't you? By those people who make that animation. I'm not saying several million of that's going to go straight up their noses, but how much does it really cost to draw a few cartoons? Huh? They've already got the voices.
I will still say Legend of Vox Machina Kickstarter is my favourite from this week. So
there you go. I'm leaning toward. I would say I like the Polish thing, but I'm probably going with Terrain Tutor because I think his book's going to be of value to you for years to come.
I think the Poles.
The Poles are so exciting. But really the book, man, the
book's great. The book's awesome.
The flipping terrain book, man.
Did you know? Right. Well, here's what we do. Right. Okay. Bear with me. One of the pledge options is like a buddy one, where you get 2 copies at a reduced price for you and your friend. So
what are we talking about? The Polish stuff again?
No. The train. So you go in for that.
Yeah.
And I'll just get the Poles for myself. You can look at them from across the table. Think how good they look coming towards you with their wings going. Whoosh.
Right. Yeah. Right. See? I think we're spent, guys. We have the Sunday show coming up. Remember to comment for your chance to win Blackstone Fortress with the Creep Shaper. It will be in the box. Trust me, it'll be in the box. As much as I don't want it to be in the box.
Yeah.
Join us tomorrow in the XLBS show where we're talking about a lot of hobby stuff, enjoying ourselves for another hour and a half. Until then, have a great weekend's gaming.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.